Homestead-Miami Speedway has been the spot for the season finale for the past 17 years and has seen some of the most gripping races in NASCAR history. Joe Gibbs Racing has 3 cars in the Championship 4, and Denny Hamlin hopes it's him who brings home the title for Coach Gibbs. That's something Denny's never done. He's the only one of this quartet yet to be a Cup champion. Kevin Harvick is right at home in this pressure cooker situation. The 2014 champion has had a solid year, and the only Ford driver in this 4-pack thrives on this kind of track and this winner-take-all situation. New team this year for Martin Truex Jr., but no worries. He's here again. The 2017 champ is in the Championship 4 for the 4th time and would surprise nobody if he were able to be crowned #1 again. Completing the Toyota Gibbs trio is Kyle Busch. He's bugged at the moment by a monstrous 21-race winless streak. But if he's victorious today, it's the only win that really matters, and he's ready to deliver. And this is what they're racing for. The 37-inch tall, 68-pound Monster Energy NASCAR Cup with that incredible design incorporating all 23 NASCAR tracks raced on. There is a lot to be excited about today. Hi, folks. Welcome to Hot Pass. Lee Diffie, a NASCAR Hall of Famer. Dale Jarrett, ready to do it again. DJ, this is the 5th year that we've done Hot Pass. So much to look forward to. Now, for those of you who have seen this in the years gone by that we've covered this, you know what we're talking about. If this is a first-time view for you, this is what Hot Pass is all about. It is simply this. The focus is on the Championship 4. The main race feed is in the big box, and you see Joey Logano driving to victory and to become a champion this time a year ago. We will highlight the boxes with that green bar to show you which radio we're listening to, and there's a whole bunch more information on the screen. There's a lot going on, but it's a great alternative to the main broadcast, which is over on NBC. DJ, I know right from the word go, you were a big fan of this concept.
Yeah, it's so exciting to know that all we're covering and talking about are these 4 drivers that are battling for a championship. And it's just not the drivers. We're going to hear from everybody on their team that has access and the ability to talk on that radio throughout the day, get the information. The restarts are going to be incredible as we hear what the spotters do. The crew chiefs, we're going to know kind of what their plans are, what their strategies are, and watching these drivers perform. I think they're all 4 going to we could probably put them in one box, but we're going to keep up with everything that they're doing throughout the afternoon.
Well, it's the one thing that we listen to you. We hear you saying we'd like to go inside the world of the race car, of the race team, what's going on, and that's what Hot Pass is all about. So we need to put the spotlight now on the Championship 4, and there's a really interesting 3-in-1 scenario. 3 Toyotas for Joe Gibbs Racing, only 1 Ford. That's Kevin Harvick from Stewart-Haas Racing. But DJ, there's also another 3-in-1 scenario. That is, 3 of the 4 are champions. However, Denny Hamlin is not.
Yeah, not yet. Let's put it like that. Whether it happens this year or in the future, Denny Hamlin is a championship race driver. He just hasn't had everything to go his way. He's been in this situation before. They made an effort in 2014, leave Denny Hamlin out. Kevin Harvick came and got tires, was able to make that pass and go on to win the championship that year. But Denny Hamlin understands what this pressure's about. And also, he is better prepared at this point in time. He's a better race driver. He's a much better thinker about situations like this. And I think his mind's in the right place to get it done.
I've spoken to a lot of people who spoke to Denny after Phoenix last weekend, and there wasn't a whole lot of hooting and hollering and celebrating. It was business. It was business face. So kind of that belief is there that he can do it.
You know, Denny Hamlin said, and it's a great point, that last week was their Homestead-Miami. They had to win to be in this situation. They went out and proved to the world and to themselves that in this type of pressure-packed situation, they're ready and capable of making everything happen. This is the best opportunity he's ever had to go have that championship at his disposal.
So Denny Hamlin got pretty close here in 2014. The Hall of Famer sitting beside me, he got it done here back in 1999.
Here comes Dale Jarrett off of turn number 4. 42-year-old from Conover, North Carolina, has won the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. It's the first championship for Jarrett and Yates. His father, Ned, the NASCAR champion in 1961 and 1965, the second family members to both be Winston Cup title holders.
Oh, it's much better. It's better than both of my championships put together.
Great day for the Jarrett family. It's very special to us, and hopefully we've given a little something back to the sport.
Well, for the 3rd time in NASCAR history, Jarrett is king of the hill.
That's 20 years ago, mate, but I'm sure it doesn't get old looking at it.
No, it never gets old. Such a special day for our family right here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We knew what we had to do to go out and win a championship. We had a tremendous year. As I look back on that, yeah, it was great having my family all here and being a part of that, knowing my dad had those 2 championships, but having everybody here to celebrate that moment. But to see Robert Yates there, the Hall of Famer Robert Yates, and what he meant to this sport, and to bring him his first championships, and it turned out his only championship. Just a tremendous day for myself and Robert Yates and his family.
There is so much spoken about the championship pressure. So that pressure is felt by nobody better than the guys calling the shots. And today on Hot Pass, DJ and I'll try and commentate less so you can hear more of the key people. We start with Denny Hamlin's team, crew chief Chris Gabehart. This is a whole new deal, and it's big for him.
Whole new deal. First year that he's been a Cup crew chief. They paired him up with Denny Hamlin, who is outstanding. They've got a really good spotter in Chris Lambert. That's a package that's going to be hard to beat here this afternoon.
Talk about a package that's going to be hard to beat. How about we switch over to the Ford, the only Ford in this championship for Kevin Harvick, and the familiar crew chief of Rodney Childers. But how about having somebody like Tim Fedewa call the action for you from the spotter stand?
Yeah, there's no doubt. When you have someone that's been in the seat before and understands that, it's really beneficial to do that. Rodney Childers was a racer also, so that's a really good pairing of these 3 drivers.
Let's keep moving through the championship 4, and we go to the 19. First year at Joe Gibbs Racing for Martin Truex Jr., the 2017 champion. But nothing seems to faze this cruisy, casual, and very calm Canadian. That's Cole Pearn.
Hey, if this comes down to a strategy call at the end to put his driver in position, there's nobody out there more willing to take a chance and believing in what they do than Cole Pearn. Clayton Hughes, longtime spotter. They have a great relationship there.
All right, you won't find a team with too much more passion than the 18 of Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens. Tony Hirschman will call the shots. That's an experienced trio right there.
Yeah, and we talked about Chris Gabehart being here his first time. Well, Adam Stevens' first time as a Cup crew chief, he and Kyle Busch got the job done, and they won this championship. So a really good pairing throughout all of this. Really experienced people here.
So there you go. They're the key people that we will be hearing from today throughout the coverage on Hot Pass. An added bonus this year, we're going to throw in the spy cam as well.
Oh, yeah.
Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton will throw that into the coverage. A whole lot to look forward to on this alternative coverage. A lot coming up here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. It is a gorgeous 67-degree afternoon here in southern Florida at Homestead-Miami Speedway, gearing up for the championship finale, and it's time to go trackside for the ceremonies.
Here to offer today's invocation is Pastor Sammy Flores from Christ Fellowship Miami.
Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity that allows us to be here tonight. And Lord, we ask now that you would be with our drivers and their families, protect them and keep them safe. We also ask that you would be with our military and their families, protect them and keep them safe as they defend our freedom. And we thank you and ask that you would bless this great nation. We thank you for this. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Presenting our nation's colors today is the Homestead Air Reserve Base Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please join as Colonel David A. Pifferario from the 482nd Fighter Wing Commander, Homestead Air Reserve Base, leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Americana recording artist Candy Carpenter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ready to go racing. Ready to decide who will be champion in 2019. Let's do it. And here is the first time you get to see our hot pass layout with all four drivers. As they climb aboard, Kevin Harvick's already in his number 4 Stuart Haas Racing Ford. Kyle Busch is in. Denny Hamlin's in there as well. You just can't see him as well, and so too is Martin Truex Jr. So you'll see the Championship 4 moving around the track in the bottom left of your screen. Main race feed is front and center, and then on your far right there will be a variety of graphics rolled in there with the updated race order at the top of your screen that will roll in the traditional right to left fashion. So there's the layout, and that's how it will be for this Ford EcoBoost 400 right here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's been a week where there has been so much talk, so many interviews, so many appearances, so much asked of the Championship 4, and now it comes down to what they do best. It's almost time to go racing. So the grid will be cleared, and if you talk to any driver, this is the moment they love the most. They're in their happy place. They can't be pushed and pulled anymore. They're there where they belong, at where they do their best. And it's almost time for the command and to really get things started for the final time, the 36th and final time in 2019 to decide who will be the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup champion. And will it be a first for the man in the 11, Denny Hamlin? We will see. Lee Diffie and NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett with you. And I don't know about you, DJ. I'm excited. This is going to be quite the fight.
Yeah, it really is. Probably the best championship 4 that we've seen down here racing for this championship. I think they all 4 race at a high level. Probably the top 4 positions for most of the day. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
You had some of the drivers in the pre-race show and in NASCAR America up on the Peacock pit box with you, and we saw Junior interview some as well. What did you take from the Championship 4 in their pre-race interviews?
Yeah, I think the thing that came across for me was, much as anything, the confidence every one of them had in their abilities and in their team every day.
It's going to be a good day.
And you'll see the pattern that we have for you for the radio transmission. Whenever you see the driver box highlighted in green, so you just heard some conversation from Denny Hamlin's team, therefore Denny's box is highlighted green. So just keep your eye on that, and that's whose radio we are eavesdropping on. Time now, though, for the command. Here we go.
Grand Marshal, President of Automotive for Ford Motor Company, Joseph Henricks.
All right, good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to Ford Championship Weekend at beautiful Homestead-Miami Speedway. Say it with me. Drivers, start your engines!
Firing in. Firing, hope.
Engines are fired, and we'll go racing when we come back. Getting closer and closer to start in the Ford EcoBoost 400. 267 laps of the Homestead-Miami Speedway. First stage will be 80, second stage 80 laps, and the final stage 107 to determine a champion for this year. Will there be multiple champions, or will there be a first-time champion, is the question yet to be answered. Doesn't it look great? And think about just how many wonderful closing days to a season that this facility has hosted. This is now the 18th year in succession. I know it holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah, it wasn't in this format, but was able to clinch the championship here in 1999. A special day, always be a special place to me. And you know, these drivers, as we look inside there at them now, they're finally where they've wanted to be all week. All the questions have been answered. They said all they need to say. Now it's time to go get the job done.
Let's go racing. And if last night's Xfinity final was anything to go by, this is going to be great.
Wasn't that fun? I mean, just to watch those drivers perform at such a high level. And, you know, here again, as we look down the line at the other cars, this is what's so unique about NASCAR racing, is that all the other competitors are still here competing this afternoon. Could they impact in this some way, shape, or form? They don't want to be, you know, someone that's going to create an incident or something like that. But there's a lot that they can have to say about who wins this championship also.
What I liked was last night post-race when two of the championship four in Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer were on the Peacock pit box just kind of dissecting the race, and Cole Custer was a very gracious loser in that affair. He didn't win the championship. Tyler Reddick did, but that was great, and I hope we get the same kind of run out tonight, this afternoon and this evening.
Yeah, it's always hard to be the runner-up, you know, but whenever you did and performed at a high level like Cole Custer did last night, and you just literally got outrun, there's nothing to be ashamed of in that situation.
All right, let's eavesdrop on Denny Hamlin. Remember to look for the box that is highlighted in green. Denny a little bit quiet, Denny's camp a little bit quiet at the moment. And if you have not been following what has gone down so far this weekend, a lot of heavy rain on Friday, which kind of put the schedule on its head, so to speak. And what the wash-up of that was, pardon the pun, is that there was only 50 minutes of practice for the Cup drivers. How do you think that's going to impact things?
Yeah, certainly. They had to get a lot done in a short amount of time, and that 50 minutes was only made possible by NASCAR canceling qualifying. So they are lined up by owner's points here. But I think every driver told me they got a lot done, found out a lot about their car in those 50 minutes.
Copy that. Second 39, good. Work your pressures up here.
Now, prior to race start, we're going to join the main broadcast on NBC, and our very own Jeff Burton is going to speak to each and every one of the championship form. We should say thanks. They've been very gracious in allowing us to do that.
Yeah. And what we heard Denny Hamlin giving there was the RPMs for his pit road speed. Hugely important. Can't make mistakes on pit road here this evening and expect to win this championship. Going to be hard to rebound from any kind of penalties.
The power of pressure is a fascinating beast.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to see who handles that beast the best. Over 267 laps here today.
You know if he's taking top or bottom here?
All right, let's join Jeff Burton on the main broadcast on NBC to hear from each of the championship four.
Something that's unavailable in virtually every other sport is the ability to talk to the competitors right before they're about to take on their competition. So let's start off with Kyle Busch. Let's talk to him on the radio now.
Hey, Kyle Busch, it's Dale Jr. in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you mentioned this is the second championship would be huge for you. How do you get it today?
You got to be the fastest one of the four, so hopefully we are when it matters the most. We got a long ways to go to get to that point, but play it out each and every step of the way, every lap, be focused, and execute.
All right, buddy, we appreciate you talking to us. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Right now, Kyle Busch tied for 9th all-time on the wins list with Rusty Wallace at 55 career wins. Let's check in with Martin Truex Jr.
Hey, Martin Truex Jr., this is Dale Jr. in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, buddy, I got you.
All right, man, is it good or bad to have to go through your teammates to win this championship?
I don't know that it matters, Dale, to be honest. It's, I feel like you're going to have to win this race. To win this championship, we talked about that earlier, so it really doesn't matter who we're racing. We're fired up, excited. We've earned our way here. We've had a great season. It's time to cap it off.
All right, buddy, good luck to you. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, no
Martin
problem.
said that moving over to Joe Gibbs Racing was so much easier because of friends that were there already. Todd Barrier, Wally Brown, and of course a guy who loves the nature, Jimmy Makar, his fishing buddy over there as well. All right, let's check in with our next driver.
Hey, Kevin, it's Burton in the booth, boys. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, it's you versus Joe Gibbs Racing. How do you go handle them today to get this championship?
Race ourselves. Do what we do on a weekly basis. Just concentrate on every lap and trying to make our car the best that we can and try to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and hopefully our Busch Light Ford's out front.
Thanks for spending some time with us, Kevin. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Kevin, the only driver that's not running for a championship and racing for Joe Gibbs Racing today. All right, let's talk to the final driver.
Hey, Denny, it's Burton. You got us?
Yeah, 4.
All right, man, I just want to know what's it going to take for you to win this championship.
No mistakes.
That's a simple answer, hard to do. Good luck, man. Good luck.
You got that shit right.
So terrific to hear from the championship four pre-race. And I think the overarching theme for all of them, their DJ, is just do what we do.
Yeah, that you can't deviate from what got you here. I mean, every one of these drivers won at least 4 races this year, and you just continue to do that. Put that effort towards that, and as plain and simple as it may sound that Denny Hamlin just put it, don't make any mistakes.
And there has been so much extra talk, I feel, this year about do the basic things right. Basic things like pit stops. Do what we do best, but you've got to execute, because there's the general feeling that this is going to be so tight, so competitive, that things are going to be won and lost, like on pit road. Check in with Martin Truex just a few moments ago.
All right, buddy. We want to go at the line this time. 81st stage, 162nd stage, 267. We get the checker flag. I'll meet you down there on one of the back of them trucks, and we're going to celebrate all night long down here in Miami, bud. Let's go kiss that possum. Get her done. You're the man. Good luck.
10-4, man. Have a good one up there. All you guys down there, thanks for everything this year. It's been a hell of a year. Appreciate all the hard work. It's a big chance for us to close it out, show who we are. Good luck in there. Sounds good, man. I would be ready to execute all day and stay up with it. 400 miles, we can make it.
I love when you hear the drivers talk about the team as a whole. Do it for the guys. What's that responsibility like when you're in the driver's seat?
Yeah, you know, you appreciate the effort that's been put forth by everybody to get to this point. Now you've got to put one more full race together. And we talk about this being a team sport. Those guys on pit road there are as important today in trying to win this championship as the driver doing his job. You've got to have great pit stops, no mistakes, can't have any loose wheels, anything like that, and expect a rebound from that. So everybody has to do their job, and it's very much appreciated by the driver when they do perform at that high level.
Still up there. One lane between. Good behind him if you need it. Still there. Two after back to the 42. Clear by one. Clear. All clear. Use it. No runs coming. 1.5 out back. 6 behind him. 1 back.
Switching from the 11 to the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
Clear by 3 on the exit.
So we had all 4 drivers' mics open, all communication paths open for the green flag. Prior to the green flag, let's go inside the 11 FedEx Toyota of Denny Hamlin and listen to the team pep talk.
All right, man. Homer tugging your best. Make sure they're getting tight. Get all your switches ready here. 267 laps. Fighting your ass off. Racing the racetrack. Taking care of it. Win yourself a championship at the end of the day. Do it for JD. Have a good luck.
Do it for JD, the late JD Gibbs. That was the pre-race pep talk to the 11 of Denny Hamlin, who got off to a great start, but it's Kevin Harvick who leads at this early stage. Martin Truex Jr. had a really nervous moment at the beginning of the race when Joey Logano lunged down the inside and it loosened him up into turn 3, but now he's stabilized and he's back in the championship 4 or in the top 4.
32, 63 in front of you.
Yeah, that wasn't smoke from his engine or the tires. That was smoke coming out of Martin Truex Jr.'s ears and under his helmet. He was not happy, I'll guarantee you, with what Joey Logano did there at the start of this race. But you can't fault Joey Logano. He got a great run, and, you know, he's a hard racer.
.3277 in front of you. Leader running 3266.
And here's what we were talking about. Check out the 22.
Yeah, you can see Truex just trying to push his teammate Denny Hamlin, see if he can get a little better start. Logano, when he got down there, it got Truex a little bit loose. He had to move up. That put him in the middle, which puts you late getting back to the throttle, which cost him a couple of spots. But now he's been able to settle down.
33.13, leader 33.09.
Won't be the first or last moment we have on the restart, though, with these drivers this afternoon.
Speaking of Martin Truex Jr., this is a few moments ago. Let's have a listen.
About the splitter of 3 and 4, play center exit 1 and 2. Check 4.
You're not going to worry too much about making adjustments to what the track is right now and what your car is doing. You want your driver to be comfortable here because you've got an hour and a half or so of running in the sunlight, but you're not going to over adjust. Plus the racetrack was really dirty. You could see the dust flying up, a lot of the sand and stuff that gets on this track. So once that got cleared off, it looks like this 19 car is moving forward.
Kevin Harvick with a 1-second lead over Denny Hamlin, and about the same further back to Truex, and then a lesser margin back to the 18 of Kyle Busch. And year in, year out, DJ, just organically, it happens. We have the championship 4 in the top 4. That's what makes this finale so fascinating.
Yeah, you know, I think when this whole process was put in place, people questioned whether how good it would be to have one race for them. But these are the 4 best drivers and teams throughout the year, and you expect them to come here on a difficult racetrack and continue to perform at that level.
So we're up and running with the Ford EcoBoost Championship finale and Hot Pass here on NBCSN. Back in a moment. This is Hot Pass at the championship finale here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Lee Diffie and Dale Jarrett with you on a beautiful afternoon. We're racing into the evening here in South Florida, and it is one of the championship 4, Kevin Harvick, who leads the way and leads convincingly.
Yeah, this has been pretty impressive that he jumped out there right from the very start. And it's kind of, you can see he's moved his groove around. He started on the bottom, kind of gravitating towards the top now.
I want to take you back just a few moments ago while we're in the break and have a listen to some Denny Hamlin radio.
A good lap. Just be careful up the top where it starts flattening out off of 4. A lot of guys having issues there.
Started out really good, and it started picking up tight landing, and then loose right after that. Backed up my entry. It felt the landing. Just feels like lack of grip. High air pressure. Just as the air pressure's been building, cars been getting taller and more out of the track.
Clear. Simple.
Two side everywhere right now. Therefore.
So some feedback from 3 of the 4 on their cars, DJ, and the overwhelming theme there was not a whole lot of happiness. So at this early stage, what do you have to do? You have to almost coach yourself to be patient and get through this first stint?
Yeah, you used the exact words, get through this part, because this is going to have nothing to do with how your car's going to drive here in just a couple of hours. The sun's going to set around 5:30 here. The racetrack's going to go through a huge change once that comes along.
Wow.
But you can see Kyle Busch struggling with his car. But the main thing now is don't do anything crazy. Don't tear up your race car trying to make something better than it is right now.
Kevin Harvick up on the extreme high line, and you saw Kyle Larson go by Kyle Busch pretty effectively. And that was one of the things that we've all been chatting about all week long. Will any of the non-championship 4 actually race for the win of this event?
Yeah, it's highly possible. I mean, you know, you just think about all of the drivers that made the playoffs, how level they competed at through this just got eliminated at some point in time.
We told you right at the top of the show that we're also going to integrate as we see a challenge for the lead here. Martin Truex Jr. has gone up to second. Now he's vying for the lead and goes all the way around the outside of Kevin Harvick. Let's join Spycam.
Bravo, into the corner. Look at this side draft.
Look at the difference in speed as Truex runs that top line. Look how much faster he is in the middle. The speed in that top is in the middle of the corner, and then it should be even more down the straightaway because he's not binding his car up on that top the way Kevin has to do on the bottom.
20 laps into stage 1. The top has finally came in.
And that's a different perspective we saw from the Busch Light camera on board with Kevin Harvick. We saw how he now has a different perspective of this view because the 19's in front of him now.
Well, let's go on board. Let's see why Martin Truex Jr. is faster than Kevin Harvick. We have speeds, we have throttles, we have brakes. So here we come on the front straightaway. Look at the speeds. Martin Truex Jr. He's going to be somewhere around 170 getting into the corner. 169. Harvick's actually 171. Harvick's faster down the straightaway, but he's slower in the corner. The low-end speed is slower on Harvick's car. So Truex making better corner speed, but Harvick making better straight speed.
Let's not forget, guys, the 19 was the first car to qualify for a little extra time.
Just think about how the race started for Martin Truex Jr. with that slight altercation with Joey Logano. He was as low as 6th. He now leads. The Ford EcoBoost 400 continues from Homestead-Miami Speedway, and the one-time race leader, the early race leader, Kevin Harvick, has got his hands full with that Stewart Haas Ford, the number 4 machine. He's now being challenged not only by Denny Hamlin, but also Kyle Larson is up there in the mix as well. And Larson is flying as he makes his way towards the front. And a surprise, surprise, he's running the high line.
Yeah, imagine that, right up against the wall. He has nothing to lose here this afternoon. He's looking for another win here to close out this 2019 season. He had a great run into the round of 8. But, you know, we've always said that if he could get to the championship race, he would be a real factor and could be the champion coming out of here. Unfortunately for him, this is the last race of the year here.
And he's just under 4 seconds behind Martin Truex Jr., who we need to hear from just a few moments ago.
Everybody else is struggling with the intake too, so we'll just see where the track goes.
Always interesting, drivers complaining about their cars, but Truex fell back to 6th, I believe, and has worked his way all the way up to almost a 4-second lead in this, and he feels like his car isn't right. So imagine how bad the other cars are driving.
And again, we need to remind ourselves, as much as you guys too at home, only the Cup drivers only had 50 minutes of practice, no qualifying. Qualifying was cancelled due to the rain that affected all 3 categories and all 3 championships. The truck race on Friday night was pushed back very late because of it. Xfinity practice and qualifying were affected, and it ultimately ended up in Cup qualifying being cancelled. And they went back on a count back of best results. They went to wins. They all had wins. It ended up being back to like 3rd and 4th places that determined the grid in terms of the starting order, with, of course, Denny Hamlin being up front. So here's Kyle Busch, who's now making inroads on Kevin Harvick for that 3rd spot. Hamlin's comfortable in 3rd, rather I should say for 4th spot. Hamlin's comfortable in 3rd. And Truex's lead has been shaved now to just over 3 seconds, so Larson is on the move.
This kind of tells me, watching Harvick slide back and run in the bottom of the track, that his car probably started out very comfortable to him, and that's why he was able to build that lead. Now it's gotten a little bit too tight for him, and so he's falling back.
Talking about Busch making inroads on Kevin Harvick, let's have a listen.
Sometimes tight with the front, most of the time just loose with the back. Exit, on throttle exit is the loosest with the back. The higher I get, 1 and 2, and then always the slick spot 4. Got our straightaway speed to 190 corner.
Yeah, Kevin. We'll get you fixed up.
just never get sick of watching this guy run the fence.
No. No, it's definitely highly entertaining and watching. There's a technique to it. We saw Tyler Reddick last night do the same thing to win his second consecutive Xfinity championship. Just so good up there. There's an art to it. Not everybody can do it.
In your Hall of Fame career, does he remind you of somebody back in the day who used to run the boards all the time?
Oh, gosh. Dale Jr. loved to do it as much as anybody did. I think, it's when he came along into the sport, he was really, really good at somebody that I think about that could go anywhere on the racetrack. And that's not necessarily the high line, but Tim Richmond could just take a car anywhere and everywhere that it needed to go. Thinking about what Kevin Harvick's going through as we joined Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton's commentary there a few laps back. They were talking about the speed that they saw Harvick on the straightaway. So it sounds like they have trimmed their car out. This what won them the race at Texas, was being really trimmed out. This is a completely different track, though. We've got two of them pitting here now, early on.
Not quite halfway through the first stage. Remember what we said about executing and no mistakes. No mistakes for the routine things. Let's see how the JGR and Stuart Haas squads do. Race leader is the last one to come in.
Here we go, 4 tires. Digging hard, bud, digging hard all the way around. Got 1-2 back. It's a bit slower car right here. When you're outside, you get enough speed down to 3. You're clear right there. Clear. Clear.
DJ, you'd appreciate this, an understanding going to a new team. There's about 6 or 7 key people from Cole Pern down, the crew chief from Martin Truex Jr., who came over from Furniture Row Racing to Joe Gibbs Racing. And of course, they had that technical alliance, but coming over, and a couple of the guys told me it was really weird because we were such a small operation out in Colorado. If we wanted to get things done, we just used to do them. Yeah. Now we're part of this monstrous organization, and kind of things move a little bit more slowly.
Yeah, process is a lot different, but obviously they fit right in.
Conversely, you've got a great support net, and they love that. And the proof's right here with Martin Truex Jr. in great shape in this race. Just over 35 laps left to go here in stage 1. Championship day in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, where 3 of the championship 4 knows what it's like to be crowned champion. This man here, center of your screen, Denny Hamlin, does not. He came so close back in 2014, only to see Kevin Harvick be crowned champion. But there's a lot of people on the Denny Hamlin bandwagon right now who believe this day, this year, can be his.
Yeah, I think we all saw a difference in Denny Hamlin. And it's not that he's driving any differently. I think if he's doing anything, he's driving a little smarter. But I think that comes with maturity. But what we've seen is that maturity put a driver at that real peace within himself, and I think that's why we all thought that, okay, this talent now can shine through, and he and crew chief Chris Gabehart in their first year together have done some really, really good things, and it just looked like Denny was set up for this to be his year, and could well be that.
And at the moment, Denny is the lowest of the championship four. He's down in 5th place. Martin Truex leads by just under 4.5 seconds over Kyle Larson, non-championship contender. And let's have a listen to some radio within the 19 camp a few moments ago.
No, just no harder than you have to. Got a pretty big lead. We killed him on the pit cycle there.
Yeah, and that pit cycle they were talking about, they could go quite a bit further than what we saw them. But once those first couple, and we saw Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick be the first two of the championship contenders to hit pit road. Once that starts, because you slow down 2 seconds or a little bit more in a run here. Plus, you're going to get more tire wear in the first run of a race. The track is it's dirty, but it's also clean. Some of the rubber even gets washed off. Even though we didn't have any rain, it gets taken away just with things that are happening. And so you get more tire wear. I think they just wanted to make sure that they were erring on the side of caution a little bit here to begin with. But once they did, then Truex and Denny had to get in too, because you can't be giving up more than 2 seconds a lap.
Just joining the dots and following the pictures, it looks like on the main broadcast they're doing their farewells to David Reagan first in the 38, and then of course Paul Menard in the 21. Back to regular race coverage and focusing on Denny Hamlin here. What's your take on those guys saying farewell to full-time racing for Paul Menard and David Reagan?
Yeah, both have brought a lot to the sport, had good careers, won at big tracks. David Reagan winning at Daytona and Talladega, and then Paul Menard, of course, winning the Brickyard 400. And they come from families that have been a part of motorsports for a long time also. So wish them both the very best. They contributed and brought a lot to the sport.
Long before we were friends and colleagues, long before we ever worked together, I always wondered, did David Reagan ever ask you, as we look at the pit stop of Denny Hamlin, did Reagan ever ask you what it was like and the responsibility to drive the UPS car? Because he took over that responsibility, right?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, and you know, it was more an honor, and I think David would tell you that that's what it was too, and being able to work with UPS and all of their employees throughout the year. So a lot of fun.
What did you take away from that stop there from the 11?
Yeah, it looks like they might have had a little bit of a transition problem there. Going to the left side with the jack man and the left front tire changer. That was tough. It looks like he's losing more on the track right now.
He is. He's 12 seconds in arrears of race leader and teammate Martin Truex Jr. Speaking of the JGR trio, let's check in with some Kyle Busch radio.
Yeah, that's versus Harvick on the bottom. 8 okay to the line. Center rolling speeds, and Harvick's, pretty good. Center to 5/8, a little past the 5/8 point there on throttling and wrap, both ends, where he's making a little on us.
Oh, tight, but I don't feel that bad about the balance. Hey, boy, that 20 you ran 3 laps ago was really good. We fired off about 3 tenths off, though.
Quite pick up Hamlin's there. He said he wasn't happy with the balance, or was happy with the balance?
Yeah, it didn't seem like he was totally unhappy with the balance. They just don't have the speed that I believe that he's looking for. Especially they talked about being a little bit off, and they're firing off. That's the first few laps after you go back out there on sticker tires. You like to know that you've got the speed to compete, and they were about 3/10 of a second. So that, before you know it, in 3 laps, if you're 3/10 off, you're a second further back than what you were.
Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano on the main box here, the main race coverage. They're kind of arm wrestling over 7th position at the moment. Working some different lines and having some fun in the final race of the year. On a season that has not been all that satisfactory for the 7-time champion. And the outgoing champion, Joey Logano, who came so close to being part of this championship 4 here on Championship Day. This is Hot Pass here on NBCSN as we welcome you back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. How time flies. It's the 5th year that we've offered this alternative coverage to the main race feed on NBC. If you would like the regular coverage, that's where it's at. If you want to hang here with us, with myself, Lee Diffie, and Dale Jarrett, NASCAR Hall of Famer, you're more than welcome. We'd love you to. And you're looking at race leader and the 2017 champion, Martin Truex Jr., in the final race of his first year with Joe Gibbs Racing that has been so productive. He has just continued the momentum that he's had the last couple of years, really, which have been extraordinary. We're going to take you back to some recent radio. Remember to look for the box that's highlighted green. It's Kevin Harvick.
Hey, loose to run the top. I can't turn on the bottom.
I have to run the top. I can't turn on the bottom.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's highly unusual. Kevin Harvick's really good around the bottom at getting his car to do what he wants to. But if they have their car, seems what we were talking about earlier, a little bit trimmed out to where it's good, then they probably had to tighten it up just a shade for him because they've gone to a situation to where they want that straightaway speed, but they're giving up something in the corner. So to combat that, maybe the car's gotten a little bit tight. So they'll have to make some adjustments. But later on, that could be a good thing. This track's going to get more grip as it cools down.
And as Truex continues to just blast away out front, the gap from him to one of his JGR teammates and fellow title rival Denny Hamlin is now 15 seconds.
Here, you're down below bottom.
Yeah, so it's not like that Denny's getting close to getting lapped, but you don't want to continue to give up this much time to one of your competitors, especially to a teammate. Obviously, he's not going to get lapped with 18 to go in this stage.
So we gave you the feedback from Kevin Harvick to Rodney Childers, his crew chief, longtime crew chief. Time for some more radio. Have a listen from just a few moments ago.
Mainly mid-corner speed, mainly 3 and 4. You just got to get the throttle back on the center, get that mid-corner speed turned around. I'm trying to see things here.
Yeah, so they're kind of looking and relating as to, you know, where Denny might be losing time to his competitors. And, of course, Denny as a driver is searching around, doing a few things. Once again, it's not a time to panic. You know, go up and challenge the wall. You might put yourself in a difficult situation at a time of the race that it doesn't matter.
Radio's open at Harvick.
You do have to start making some adjustments.
Starting to see the shadows take effect in certain parts of the track. When the lights take full effect and we do go into the night, the temperatures drop and it is relatively cool here in South Florida for this part of the country. How significantly does the track change and how does it change? What do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, well, it's still going to wear tires, so that's going to be an issue. Your times are going to fall off, just not as much. You're going to find that the track surface is going to give you a little bit more grip because of the cooler temperatures that you're going to encounter. But as the speeds go up, that's why your tire wear will stay basically the same. It's not going to get that much better because you're going through the corners just a little bit quicker there. So it will go through a change. How it affects your car, each one is a little bit different depending upon what it's actually doing.
Looking at Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron in the 24. Boy, wouldn't that be something if a Chevrolet-powered car could just win this race after being shut out of the championship four.
Yeah, it's been a little disappointing for them that they weren't a part of this. William Byron having...
Getting close to the end of the first stage, just 9 laps to go until we will see that mandatory caution and everybody get a chance to reset. And there has been a lot of radio chatter about adjustments that need to be made. Let's kick it off with Kyle Busch.
It's just tight and long. Like if I throw it off in there real far, it lands tight, slides up the track. If I go off in there easy to make sure the front end stays underneath me, then it's just snug. And it doesn't really hold the bottom as fast as it needs to hold the bottom for as long as it should hold the bottom. And then the ass starts to slip out a little. That makes it 3 and 4 feels, I think, really good. You know, the little tight 1 and 2, you know, that late entry to center. With this new technique, I'm definitely a little freer now, so 3 and 4.
DJ, what do you think this new technique is? Because he said before he's playing with some things. He's working on some things. What could that be?
Well, your entry into the corner probably is the biggest thing. That's the first thing that you have to accomplish is getting into the corner. You don't want to give up speed. We heard Kyle Busch talk about backing up the corner a little bit, which you can do. But if that's allowing you to pick the throttle back up and drive the car around the corner and create some speed that way. But Denny might be entering a little bit higher, a little higher arc. And if you do, then that will have the tendencies to make the car a little bit looser. So that's my guess that Denny's trying to arc this thing into the corner and then turn it off of there a little bit more.
And whatever adjustments need to be made to the 11, it's going to be fascinating to watch how effective those changes are, because as far as the order goes, Hamlin is now nearly 18 seconds behind Martin Truex Jr., the race leader. And we're going to check in as we get close to the end of this first stage. We're going to check in with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton, and Spy Cam. Have a listen.
And they said, Matt DiBenedetto, Paul Menard, man, that's doing a solid. You're stepping out of the way. You're going to help another guy get in, get that opportunity. I think all of us want to see Matt get a great opportunity, and he's going to have it next year. This 95 car, an amazing opportunity. But that is part of the process, going to the Wood Brothers next year.
And, Judah, that opportunity in the 95, of course, will be for Christopher Bell and crew chief Jason Ratcliffe coming up from the Xfinity Series. Some wonder where that would leave crew chief Mike Wheeler. Wheeler told me this morning, we're going to keep a lot of this group together and me working with them. Why? I know these race cars. Jason Ratcliffe knows Christopher Bell. Together, we're going to be stronger next year with a much tighter alliance with JGR.
It's a great opportunity for Christopher Bell to be able to move into this 95 car with a familiar face. He and his crew chief have done very, very well in the Xfinity Series. Being able to move together, I think that's very comforting to Christopher. I know it is. He told me how excited he is to continue that development of his career with his crew chief. It's going to be fun to see this 95 as they strengthen their relationship with Joe Gibbs Racing and bring in Christopher Bell, what they can become next year.
Martin Truex Jr., he's trying to lap his teammate. I don't know what's going on, but he was up beside his 20 car, Eric Jones. Just came out of the gas and let Eric go on here. I don't know if he's just trying not to lap Eric or what.
Eric Jones currently running in the 13th spot. And Marty mentioned in the pre-race, this is the best they have ever unloaded, meaning coming off the truck. But again, Steve, you mentioned when they won Martinsville, they turned their focus to this race right here.
They did, and if you needed to unload good in a race, this was one of them. Remember, rain shortened it all. They were supposed to have 2 practices on Friday. They only got 50 minutes on Saturday. The crew chief said, Denny Hamlin told us that would be the most important practice of the season. So if you're going to be good, you want it to be in that one with only 1 lap to go in stage 1. Lapped all the way up to the 14th position. Eric Jones, hand out the window. I think the 19 is going to be nice to his teammate and allow him to stay on the lead lap here.
First 20 laps of this stage were led by Kevin Harvick, and you would say that he probably has a short run type of setup under that car. Well, Martin Truex Jr. has been the dominant one. 58 laps led. This is lap 59. He'll win stage 1 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The only other driver to lead a lap in stage 1 was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stayed out for a lap while all of the green flag pit stops were cycled through.
So that's quite a story to tell from that opening stage for Martin Truex Jr. Getting loosened up in turn 3, lap 1 by Joey Logano, went back to 6th and has dominated the opening stage in convincing style. The afternoon, racing into the early evening, and the weather could not be any better here in Miami. We're south of downtown Miami, and it has just been perfect. And the first stage, pretty much perfect as well. Certainly if you're Martin Truex Jr., who has led 61 laps of this race so far. How about the radio from his teammate in the 18 just a few moments ago? Listen to Bush Radio.
It feels like once you get to about lap 20, the looseness stabilizes and stays the same, center off, and then it just kind of builds a little bit tighter in one. Landing, center. Need a little rear security for that exit, if possible, with a little turn. 13 on lead lap there. 10-4. Just got to be really careful how much we loosen this thing up here. Because I'm telling you, once it gets dark, the racetrack's going to come back up. Yeah, 10-4. For sure. But it did help the turn. 10-4.
All clear. Anytime. One blue. Don't overshoot. One blue. On 18 coming up here. Good.
And it's hard to see anything coming down pit road. Yeah, 10-4. I said looking left, and I realized you weren't looking left. Yeah.
So the Championship 4 have had a chance to visit their respective pit boxes, reset, have made their second stop of this Ford EcoBoost 400, and let's see what the changes made, how productive they were. Kyle Busch, he was serviced very effectively. So too Denny Hamlin. Hamlin was able to beat out Kevin Harvick. So it's JGR up front, but first let's hear from Kevin Harvick a few moments ago.
19 pretty much has been middle, pretty much the whole run after they pitted under green there. A real big arc getting in and just middle both ends, pretty much all he's got. Sure, it's getting a little hard to see on pit road. Your entry and stuff was fine, but you did clip the third box, which is perfectly legal, but just for your reference, that's about all the further we want to go. Yeah, where the sign is, I have a hard time distinguishing where the box is, top to bottom. Weird.
All right, first restart of the race, remember, because the first round of stops were green flag stops. Let's get ready to go and have a listen to the radio.
Back just inside, hanging in a corner. Nose clearing now by foot. Use it. One out the back. To the 11. One nice mark at the bottom. Stay over there. Martin got no help. You and the 11 here. Half out the back, still inside. Go to your door. Back even. 11 by himself. Clear on that. Still 2 to bed. Still in there barely. 1 to 4. 1. Still there now. Coming back to your door. Still there on. Only been down there barely. Side draft. Inside 13. Free start. All the way. 2 back to the 12. 1 back to the 12. 2, 1, 1 by 3. Carson 1.5. Half. Clear by 1. Tracking. Inside 42 and 3 Harvick.
No mo out back, just you into 42. Clear. Three. Clear up. 3-6. Harvick to the 12 now. Outside 42. See on you tight here in the center. Outside full. Full with the mo. Clear up. All clear. 3-6.
So once again, Kyle Larson in the 42 answers the question of, are any of the non-championship four going to race at the front? Yes, is the overwhelming answer.
Yeah, he's right there. And another young driver that's had an outstanding playoff. So Ryan Blaney sitting there in that 5th spot. He had 3 great races in the round of 8, but he didn't have a lot of points to help him going into that round. So that kind of kept him. He finished 8th, 5th, and 3rd, but it wasn't enough. But a nice, strong run here again this afternoon.
So whatever changes the 18 made, they've worked. He looks better than what he did in that opening run. We ride with Harvick.
He ran lane 2, 1 and 2 that time. The bottom in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think right now changes are minimal. You heard Kyle Busch giving a lot of information back, but that's more for future probably than what they are looking at right now.
And one aspect that's going to come into play that does each and every year here is the sun glare. It's going to be seriously significant at around about 4:45 local time. So in just over 15 minutes time, the drivers are going to deal with that heavy sun factor. And sunset, just in case you're wondering, is at 5:30 local time here.
Yeah, it just makes things so hard getting down the front straightaway and seeing your marks down going to turn 1. You know, if you're in a big pack of cars, obviously that makes it even more difficult. Where Martin Truex Jr. is running, not much of a problem. All he sees is clear track in front of him.
And unfortunately for the 11, Denny Hamlin, what he sees is not clear track. He sees too many cars in front of him, like Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney. Hamlin finds himself buried down in 7th.
Yeah, really struggling still to find the handling on this car. You know, he's probably a driver that is going to look for those cooler temps, cooler track to help his handling situation here this evening. Give himself a chance later on.
Larson up high. Kyle Busch in the middle of the track. Now comes into the draft of Larson and Kevin Harvick looking racy.
Coming up. 15. Doing his pull. Clear right now. 1. Doing Larson. So clear on Harvick. Clear high, clear high, clear high, clear high. Inside. Doing him at 15 still. Clear.
Clear. All the way, all the way.
Same
deal, little run to you on line again. Inside. Just you and him.
No, we didn't rewind anything. That's them doing this lap after lap.
We want this to be almost like last night's Xfinity Series final, where they're doing this down the stretch in the final 20 laps. They're not swapping positions for the lead or second, because it's Martin Truex Jr. who has a 1.5 second lead over Kyle Larson, then the 4 of Harvick, and then Busch.
Yeah, I think you've got 3 drivers that are looking and hoping that as this track pulls down that it changes. the balance of their car to the good and to their liking, and maybe it will affect the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. in a little bit of a negative way, because his is the one that is really hooked up here this afternoon.
Quarter, clear. 20 to Blaney, 20 by 6 by 10, 12, 48, 11. Yeah, really good.
This is Denny Hamlin with his hands full. This was a few moments ago, and he got rounded up by the 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson.
Still full. Still there. Still there. Still there. Still there. Quarter. Comes back full.
So the Harvick-Busch swip swap will continue, and so will Hot Pass when we come back. .58 laps to go in the second stage of the Ford EcoBoost 400. Welcome back to Hot Pass. Lee Diffie, Dale Jarrett with you from South Florida. Homestead-Miami Speedway, where Martin Truex Jr. and the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota leads comfortably by almost 2 seconds over Kyle Larson. Fellow title contender Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch 3rd and 4th. Denny Hamlin is back in 7th, and he's arm wrestling with Austin Dillon, who's having a really spirited run here today.
Yeah, one of the better runs we've seen Austin Dillon have. Looks like we've got some things figured out there.
Quarter.
Top Chevrolet right now be Jimmy Johnson up in the 5th
Grab
spot.
off Larson here. Grab what you can. Clear. In line. One. Tracking. He was offset, quarter lane lower, kept even, 1.5, almost 2. Once Larson committed the wall earlier, he stayed there for reference.
I mentioned Jimmy Johnson there. Kyle Larson running second in a Chevrolet. See, that high line just isn't quite as good as what we normally see here. And you wondered if this rules package with all the downforce they make, was that going to be as effective this year?
Still clear high. 1.5 to the bottom. Clear. He rolled line, no gain, you gain leaving, still gaining 2.5.
Just those little snippets of information can be so helpful, can't they? Larson's running it high, and he's staying there.
Yes. They were telling him he's doing it all the way through the corner, and that's the thing.
Back up a little bit. We're running a little gap on him. 3.
Harvick's backing up.
Guess wrong. He was hoping he was going to go to the bottom, so he'd have the top clean.
Well, you guys keep talking about the guessing. I'd like to listen into the 18. Let's do a spotter, Tony Hirschman. What type of information Kyle Busch is getting about the 42 and the 4?
Oh.
Pretty quiet when the 4 is not right off his rear bumper there. Almost 6. That's information. Giving the 18 how far back the 4 is, so he knows what kind of run he can make on the 42.
Quarter. Clear right now. 2 to wall. 2, 2, 2. Clear high. Use it, use it, use it, use it, use it. 1. Little mo. Half on. Quarter.
How about that information? 2, 2, 2. That 2 car lengths back, 2 car lengths back, clears him, and then he says he's on you, on your rear bumper. A great picture being painted by the spotter for Kyle Busch.
And Steve, it was interesting listening to Kyle. We sat down with him and talked to him about this championship, and he made a comment. I think we just saw it right there. He made a comment to us. He said, I've been watching video, and I've been watching lines from past races here, and those are what I'm going to try to bring to this race. He said, but I'm not going to tell you what video I was watching.
So, Rick, you're going to laugh, but listening to that spotter, that brought me back to the pit box. That's how I've watched races my entire life.
Nice to have a little spy cam action there with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Burton on the main broadcast on NBC. If you've just turned on, that's what's happening. The regular and main broadcast is over on NBC. Here on NBCSN, myself and DJ are with you for Hot Pass, where it's the alternative broadcast. A lot of radio, hearing a lot of spotter to driver, driver to crew chief, etc., taking you inside the world of the drivers, in particular, the Championship 4. And so far, so good. Pretty amazing, really, from Martin Truex Jr., who's led 88 laps of this race so far. 31 to go in stage 2. And we are rapidly racing up on halfway.
Yeah, we've seen Martin Truex Jr. and this team do this, whether years past when they just dominated the Coca-Cola 600 and led almost the entire 600 miles of that race. Just back in the round of 8 at Martinsville, they led, I believe, 464 laps of that race. So they're very capable of taking these races and making them their own.
25 green, 25, clear by 8.
We told you earlier about the really productive and encouraging run for the 3 of Austin Dillon. And that continues as he runs inside the top 10 in 8th, just ahead of Clint Boyer and Eric Jones. But it's Truex out in front. Championship day here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Welcome back to Hot Pass. Beautiful view of the Speedway there from our aerial coverage. And it's Joe Gibbs Racing 1-2 at the moment as Kyle Busch has cleared Kyle Larson. So it's the 19 and the 18. Harvick is 2 positions back in 4th, and then a further 2 positions back is Denny Hamlin in 6th. And unfortunately for Hamlin, this trend that was set in stage 1 is repeating, meaning he's double figures in terms of seconds behind, and he's going to do something about it. Hamlin's on pit road.
couple of them's going to be coming by you, then about 15 back to the 18 here. You're clear right here. 5 5 back to 18, 4 back, 3 back, 2 back, 1 outside, and you're clear, clear.
How telling will that be in the big picture?
Oh, we got no problem. No, we got the tire switch. Fuck it, got back. We fucked it up.
Uh-oh. And we apologize there for the language. A lot of heightened emotion with an error made on the 19.
Yeah, big error here.
You heard the call from Martin Truex. Something's not right. And they realize what they did.
Yeah, they got at least 2 tires switched. It sounds like what they said.
I think you got an issue.
All right, 3, 2, 1, non-green, non-green.
Looks like the right front of that, it looks like that maybe the air pressure's way down on that. Would tell me that might be a left side tire.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, 4 seconds.
Is massive.
Yeah, you just don't expect a championship caliber team that's dominating this race to make a huge mistake like that. And Lee, every week we tell them, you know, these things are still made of parts and pieces that do break occasionally, and human beings are the ones that are performing these pit stops and all the work on it, and mistakes can be made there too.
So after leading 98 laps in this race, Martin Truex Jr. finds himself off the lead lap and playing catch-up big time. And Kyle Busch, who had overtook him on that pit stop rotation, out in front.
You know, before that issue and having to come in, I was going to say it just showed Kyle Busch is one of the best, probably the best, getting on and off of pit road, and their pit crew is at the top of the list week in and week out at performing at the highest level, and that was what closed that gap up and got them the lead over Truex.
So let's reflect on last night's Xfinity Series finale. Cole Custer found himself a lap down, and worked his way back to challenge for the win of the race and the win of the championship. It didn't go his way. But my point is, it's not all over for Martin Truex Jr. yet at this early stage in the race, and the team are beating themselves up. Race leader, Kyle Busch. Kind of seems a little odd saying that where Kyle was in the opening stage. Not happy, but just remain patient and is driving like the champion that he is. But remember the big picture story with Kyle Busch, 21 race winless streak. And if you remember last weekend's broadcast at Phoenix, our Kelly Stavist asked him about that, and he didn't appreciate that topic being brought up, but it's a fact. And he's got to live with it. The team live with it every single day. And he's got to try and shake that off. How do you do that? Do you remember being in a winless streak?
Oh, yeah. But he hasn't had many winless streaks, so it's more difficult for him to accept that fact because he's accustomed to not even getting into double digits with that situation. As you can see, we're looking at the big picture here, the main feed, and that Cole Pern trying to figure out what in the heck could have possibly happened on getting those tires switched around in whatever way it was.
I mean, they were out front. They being the 19 team with Martin Truex Jr. behind the wheel has dominated this race thus far. They were out in front and comfortably so. Fairness, they got overtaken by Busch on that pit stop rotation. But that may have been because Martin couldn't get off pit road as effectively as he would have liked.
Yeah, but here's the situation. So there's 28 laps to go in this stage. There's 12 cars on the lead lap. Truex is in the free pass right now.
Let's check in with Spy Cam. Jeff and Junior.
No stage points today. It's just where you finish. They need to focus on that, and I think that's where their relationship, how well he and Cole Pern work together, that's where they're going to trust each other. They can still win this championship. It's not over, but they're going to have a process and not panic.
It's not over. And I will say, as much as the mistake is hard to swallow, what a great job of knowing right away. I don't know how you would know right away, right? Like,
I'll tell you one thing, the driver knew it, because I've actually tested here at Homestead back in 1999. On the second day, we got the tires mixed up, the left and the rights. We were a second and a half off all day long and couldn't figure it out.
All day long. They figured it out in one lap.
He knew it on the access road.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving on the access road, he knew it.
So right now, we just saw Martin Truex Jr. go by the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He's still a lap down, but Hamlin is 11 seconds behind Kyle Busch. Is there any way he could unlap himself? He's 9 seconds back right now from Busch.
Well, he has fresher tires, so he's running a little bit quicker. But let's talk about that. What's the pathway for the 78 to recover? A yellow right now. He's in the free pass position. That would be perfect world. If he can get a yellow, get his lap back in stage 2 would be huge, because then you know you're getting a caution at the end of stage 2 to get caught back up, get working back on cycle. Like we said, only 12 cars in the lead lap. So right now, if you're a Martin Truex Jr. fan, you better be cheering the TV, hoping for a caution.
Of which there has not been one yet, a caution that is, other than for the stage break. Looking at the 42 and 4, this is for second and third, Kyle Larson over Kevin Harvick. Let's check in with the race leader, though. A few moments ago, Kyle Busch. Whoa! As the 36 goes around, loops around, gathers it back up, and keeps going. There is a caution, however. Caution flies.
Just the break Truex was looking for.
Big time break.
He's in the free pass position.
Look at the joy. Look at the joy in there. And Cole Pern says, yes, this is exactly what we needed. These two guys and this 19 team led by that man there.
That's dramatic. I don't know how the hell we did that. Me neither, man. Had to make it up.
This is John Hunter Nemechek. Didn't quite spin, just a big old slide, big drift. And look at that, Cole Pern saying, come on, come on. We need a caution, we need a caution. We got one.
Yeah, that's just, yep.
I knew something wrong as soon as I got this access route. Put a round in the right rear, or a half a round, or a portion of a round. Is it going to help you or hurt you? I don't know. Unless you tighten up the air pressure to go along with it or something. Yeah, 10-4. It was just late on it all the way around. It was very slow. Okay.
Pit road's closed for everybody here. Red light to strip.
So Martin Truex Jr. is going to get the free pass.
Late on the right front. Yeah, it makes sense.
Hence the huge emotion at the 19 camp. If you're Cole Pern,
we'll do the stop, and then we're going to jack the right side up and just clean the splitter up a little bit.
what do you tell Martin?
Copy.
Yeah. Mistakes happen. You know, we have a fast enough race car to recover from it and plenty of time to do it. Not only do they have this caution, so they're going to make their way back close to the top 5, although he's going to have to start at the very end, so he probably won't get to that point. He'll be back inside the top 10. They'll pit at the end of the stage once again to get some more tires, and then he has a fast enough car to go up and challenge whoever is up there. Plenty of time to make all of this happen.
Look at Denny Hamlin's helmet. There you go. It goes from light to dark. That sun effect is huge here at Homestead.
Yeah,
very similar at the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the IMSA race in the afternoon, and it's the same here. Now I want to take you back to some Harvick radio a moment ago.
Better. We're getting there. I don't know if the racetrack's coming to us or the adjustments are better, but it's still just won't turn in the corners like I need to. And as I run, it loses the rear grip.
Getting better was the message from Kevin Harvick. Boy, this is going to make for quite the story. Martin Truex Jr. An error from the pit. Goes a lap down. Gets the free pass. Back on the lead lap. And to Jeff Burton's words, he is still in this championship. If you could pull it off, won't that be dramatic? Each and every one of these 4 teams has a story to tell, and the drivers, they've got their own interesting, different stories to tell about their road to this championship opportunity. And what will the story be at the end of the 267th lap? Under the lights here at Homestead. Here's one more little piece of that story coming to pit road.
Tight gas behind, 1 length. 10 away. Watch your boxes in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 here. Clear. Short shift wall. 1 blue. Don't overshoot. 1 blue. All the way past there. Got nothing. Carry. Back. Maybe get up there.
Prior to those pit stops, here's Hamlin's radio.
On restarts, I can't go because I'm so tight. Yeah, that kind of continues through the run. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just like, I would think it looks like I got more wheel than everyone else. It feels like I do. But, man, my extremities, I feel you freezing the car up. It's just not helping the middle.
Yeah, you do have my wheel in it at the 3rd mark, kind of just trying to rip it down in there.
Yeah.
Let's go to live radio aboard the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
He's pulling out of the way, and you are 10 away, Cole.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go, 4 tires. Now we're going to go back and work on the splitter. All right, don't leave here. Don't leave.
Go.
So the reason they're having to work on the splitter there without having the total information, I'm assuming if they had a left front tire on the right front, that has a lot lower air pressure, and so that was dragging the splitter. He knew that immediately when he went back out that wasn't right there. So fortunately, Truex found it quickly. They got back to pit road, got that changed. Back on the lead lap here. He's got to start the rear, got to start behind all the cars, even the lap down cars here. So he'll just make his way through this, take his time. No reason to be in any hurry right now. Still plenty of time to go. Said the stage end is coming in 20 laps. So that will allow him to line back up with those cars after they make another pit stop.
And look at Martin just adjusting his visor there to deal with the sun.
Yeah, getting to the point, Homestead did a great thing. They put some suites down there, a big building that helps block that a lot. But the sun still has to get down just a little bit more to be completely gone for these drivers. What a big break for a team.
Oh, huge.
That, you make up just what could be a catastrophic mistake. Something so simple. I mean, it's written on there. There's There's letters, there's numbers, everything. And, you know, but again, mistakes can happen.
All right, coming to the restart, we're going to open up all 4 Championship 4 radios. Enjoy.
All right, make sure you got everything like you want to hear. Coming to the green this time.
Switch down.
Shows top, the 18 up here.
48 and 3. First 2 out the back. Switches and brakes, everything where you need. Starts on you. Said push if you get there.
Car's getting off over here. Where's the
Car's in. 10 away. 10 away. 5. Ready. Green. Push.
Still inside.
Inside. Just one outside. One outside tight with 4. Your door tight.
Still 3.
Still there. Back to 142. Still outside. Cigarette 48.
Still outside. 3 wide middle. 3 wide middle. Clear bottom. 22 still outside. Got a little bit of room right there. 24, don't fill it on us. Aren't you good right there, buddy? 24 right there. Quarter back. Get by this 3. Outside. 20 way up high. Still outside. Outside with the 20. Still there.
Team there, quarter off. Inside is there. Inside and 5. Clear. We talked about in practice there, just on fire off, they're able to wrap. I don't know if it's splitter or just air pressure there, where it won't fan center to 5/8. 310.
To 25 or 30.
Yeah, I could stand to be freer. It's just a little too tight. It was also on the splitter that second lap in 3. That's why I had to get out of the gas and let it go.
The one and only non-Toyota, the Ford of Kevin Harvick, leads this race. And in his words, it's getting better and better. Almost 10 after 5 local time here in Florida, in Miami, for the Ford EcoBoost 400. And sunset is at 5:30, so just a little over 20 minutes time until you see the lights take effect. Track will be just gradually changing as conditions get cooler and we race into the night. And it's Kevin Harvick and his Stuart Haas Racing Ford who leads the way over Kyle Busch in the 18 JGR Toyota. And then 2 non-championship races. You see the blue car there. That's the 42 of Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney from Team Penske runs 4th. And then Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. has already caught Hamlin. And speaking of Hamlin, let's go back prior to the restart. Some different pre-restart Hamlin radio. Here it is.
Something's flapping around.
Where at?
Never mind. I think it's gone away. Like the left side, like, for sure. But it was like, you know, something that was hung around the tire.
Yeah, it's probably that. They're indexing tape.
Yeah, it's still there.
Where are you seeing it? What are you seeing?
No, I'm not seeing it, just hearing it. Hearing it, you know when you like blow a tire and the tire goes apart and starts flapping around and it fucking crush valve. That's what I hear.
Got it. Yeah, my guess is indexing tape, but I don't know that. Yeah, just work them in real good here, see if we can make it go away.
We'll label that as the flapping around radio. Something flapping around. They couldn't quite work out what it was. But on the serious side of things, you just saw Martin Truex Jr., who has come from a lap down, got the free pass, and has worked his way back up past his Joe Gibbs teammate, Denny Hamlin, and he is up into 5th.
Boy, if you're Denny Hamlin, that's pretty demoralizing right now.
Keep coming with it. Are you good over here? Yeah.
Chick Blaney off the list.
All clear by 42.
And there is no stopping.
Getting into one right now.
Martin Truex Jr. right now.
Just get you at 52 quick.
There's one fast race car here.
Still there. She clears that one. 77. You'll run up on real quick right up here. Keep coming. Come on. All clear, right? All clear.
It's about 2.5 seconds behind Kyle Larson. Let's see how quickly he bridges that gap. Doesn't mean anything because we're coming to the end of the stage, but it does mean something big picture-wise, just to really see how good that 19 is.
Yeah.
First bottom.
I'll guarantee you that Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick have already been told where that 19 is and how much he's gone.
Here, clear your lapper. Whatever you need on the floor.
Here's Busch on Harvick as we join Spy-Cam.
The back rolled around on it and just sat there and stayed, and then it started wiggling. Kevin Harvick said he was loose, and you can see it.
Now this 32 is going to cause some problems for the Ford. Going to slow that 18 up off the corner just a little bit.
And with that loose condition, Kevin Harvick is kind of limited in what he can do. If he drives underneath him right here, he has to really check the back of that car. Really make sure he doesn't get too loose on the bottom. Look at it.
It's moving a lot.
So look how far the left rear tire is away from the white line compared to the left front tire.
Able to do that and still stay right there to the quarter panel. Pretty impressive by Harvick.
Final 2 laps of stage 2, and the battle continues. Who will win stage 2?
Let's see if Harvick can make that high side work in 1 and 2. Kyle's went away from it, back to the bottom now that he has the lead. Doesn't look like Harvick's able to use the throttle enough to get that momentum going down that long back straightaway from the top of turn 2.
Martin Truex Jr. has made his way up to 4th already. On the move, 9 positions since the restart.
Fastest car on the track that last lap. We heard Harvick say still too loose. We agree with you, buddy. We'll watch you. I mean, he is driving.
The final lap of stage 2, it's Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, 1 and 2, Larson, Martin Truex Jr. up to 4th. Denny Hamlin has made his way back up to 5th. After this, it will be 106.
So the championship 4 are all in the top 5 positions. Kyle Larson is the only non-championship racer. And here is the end of stage 2, won by Kyle Busch.
-10.
And the mandatory caution comes out for the stage reset. 2 stages down, we're into the second half of the race, 107 laps to go. Picture tells the story, doesn't it? Just a beautiful evening. The day didn't start out all that well, by the way. It was cloudy and overcast and quite cool, but then we've had a wonderful day, and it's going to be just a stunning evening racing into the lights as we have a moment just to pause at the end of stage 2, won by the man center of your screen, Kyle Busch. Let's listen to some radio from him just a few moments ago.
Can you tell right front or left front? We can get a little wedge out and relieve the right front.
It was the right front when I entered lower, and then when I entered higher, it was the left front. So I can't, yeah, like when I entered with left sides on the top seam, it was bouncing off the left front.
Yeah, he gives such great information back, you know, I mean, because they're completely different as Adam Stevens was asking, right front or left front, because we can make an adjustment from there. It's kind of hard whenever it's hitting one place at one part of the track and the other side on the other side of the racetrack. But that's just so good. He's just so good at giving great feedback.
Martin Truex Jr. knows that he is back in the game. As the race off pit road, Kyle Busch wins it narrowly over Kevin Harvick. We're going back racing shortly. Stage 2 is complete. Pit stops have been executed and everybody's ready to reset and let's go. The final stage, 107 laps. And Kyle Busch won the race off pit road. Remember the big story for the 18, the driver of the 18 has not won since Pocono in June. And he's trying to break that here and win his second championship. I want to take you back to some Denny Hamlin radio. Have a listen.
Yeah, all right. I found more something there. 3 and 4. I'm just too tight. That's the bottom line of it. I'll let you do your job.
Yep, 10-4. No hints of loose anywhere, really. I mean, anywhere that matters.
No, any looses I have really comes from so much wheeling it through the mid.
Yeah.
A little tighter in traffic there, but I felt like once I got rolling there, I was pretty good again.
Yep, 10-4. We saw it.
Top right. Look at the top right box. Kyle Busch is doing some housekeeping. He's got some tape that he's trying to get cleared and put away so it doesn't disturb him.
Don't want any distractions.
No. All right, I'm going to open up the radios. Here we go. Ready for the restart. Third and final stage coming up. The race to a championship.
Starts on you. 10 away. 10 away. 5 away. Ready.
Lower.
3 wide. 3 wide. 3 wide. 2 wide here. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. 4 wide now. 4 wide. 4 wide. 4 wide. 4 2 on the bottom. 4 wide. 3 wide. Clear up. Still inside here. Outside 19 tight. 12 inside. 3 wide. 3 wide here. Still 3 wide. 12's inside.
All right, just inside only. Use that momentum off right here and get the 22. 4 still there, barely. You're clear. Clear over. Clear over. Right there, 22. Still out there. You're clear. Clear. All clear. Still out there with the 4s. 42 on me. 46 still outside.
Tight quarter. Still there. Still there. Still nose. 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 Still got nose there. Still nose. You and him. Singled in 3 to Larson. So you and 11. Still there. Still there. Full. Ready to work 3 to Truex then. Use it. Get up there. Get up there.
98 laps to go in the race.
Man, 18 made it clear off of turn 2. Then he tried his hardest to stay on the outside door of that 18 car.
Here comes Harvick. And now, the championship 4, once again, running 1, 2, 3, 4.
And he trying to create a run down this front straightaway. Got a little momentum, not enough to make a move here. Down into the bottom of turn 1 to the inside.
That car drove in the corner. Can't hold the bottom, in the gas anyway.
And Jeff, I know that Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. currently 1, 2, 3. They all drive for Coach Joe Gibbs. They're teammates all year long, but it was very clear with the championship on the line. They may drive for Coach Gibbs, but they're not teammates this weekend. Prepared differently, practice differently, and race like the championship is on the line. I applaud the organization. That's what the race fans deserve, that's what the drivers deserve, and that's what they've done.
Go back and watch some of this action that we've seen. Some really tight action on that restart.
That's another one for you, 5-2.
The 18 and 11 on the front straightaway. Kyle Busch trying to side draft. Denny Hamlin trying to turn down into the corner. A little bit of contact. And on this restart, look at Martin Truex Jr. pushing the 4 car. Trying to help him, but the timing of that was wrong. As Kevin started to accelerate, right there, you heard him accelerate. That's when Martin Truex was in the back bumper. The timing of that was wrong. Got Kevin Harvick messed up. Watch this as we run along. And that cost both of them.
Kept it maybe 2 more car lengths of
It was great. As soon as that happened, they both looked in the mirror. Why did they look in the mirror? Because they knew they were going to have to block. They knew the runs were coming from behind. They knew they had lost momentum. Kevin Harvick now making a run back to the front.
Yep. Good there.
It is uncanny how many times over the years we've seen the championship 4 in the top 4. Harvick and Truex going at it. Kevin goes on that low line. Martin decides to go up a little higher. And Denny Hamlin led his first 2 laps of this championship finale earlier.
See right there, Harvick just has so much speed on the straightaway.
Still there, she come off. But you're
With 93 laps to go, we couldn't ask for this to be any better.
.92.93 on the 18 up there.
Thanks, it's kind of tight.
No pressure. See your lapper up here. Still there, 1 lane between, still there. Clear the forward. Clear the lapper. 2 back, 1 lane lower, no run. Still 2.
In this third and final stage, this is a wonderful opportunity for each of the championship 4 to check each other out. And now, as the lights start to take effect, temperatures drop. This is for real. This is the run hard. Take a good look at Homestead-Miami Speedway from high above as the sun sets, because it's been 18 consecutive years that this place has had the season finale. Next year it will go to Phoenix. Need to take you back and get you some Martin Truex radio.
I don't think I'll be able to get back to him. I just need a little time.
All clear.
And if you didn't hear that quite clearly enough, Martin Truex Jr. said, I still think I can get back to them. I just need a little time.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this track, the sun going down and track starting to cool off, seems to have affected all these cars a little bit in a different way. The three that were needing a little bit of help have found that, and I think maybe it's made Martin Truex Jr. a little bit too tight right at the beginning of this run. Should have a couple of stops to make adjustments. If they split this up, if we stay green and they split this up in the way the segments have been so far as their pit cycles go, then they're going to be running somewhere around 35 green flag laps each time. So that'll require 2 stops.
Yeah, I think on that first stop, on the first round of green flag stops, it went about 36 laps. So just split it up nicely.
Yeah,
that is if it goes green the whole way. Which history tells us this race does quite often.
A lot, yes. Yeah, don't have a lot of incidents.
All right, the man who has he's got a race story to tell of 2 very different halves. Martin Truex dominated the early part of the race. Then there was an error from one of the pit crew members. They had the wrong tires on the wrong side of the car, and he went a lap down, got the free pass, came back. So it's a story of dominating, and it's a story of catching up. Let's continue that story.
Might be too low an air for the track going off. Get better again. Head far.
Another crucial and important piece of feedback. Did you rate yourself good at feedback? Were you a good communicator?
Tried to give as much as possible, you know, and changing conditions, so keeping your crew chief up to date, exactly what's going on. That's good feedback as far as the air pressure. You know, when the track is hot and slick, you start with that air pressure down, it's going to build up more. But now you're going to need a little bit more speed. The track's going to get faster now, and these other cars seem to be trimmed out, if you will, a little bit more. So they might have to make a little adjustment for the first time.
Just over 2 seconds from Kyle Busch to Denny Hamlin, teammate, and then less than a second to the 4 of Kevin Harvick and the 19 here of Martin Truex Jr. So it's pretty tight at the top, racing towards a championship. Who's going to get it? Hot Pass continues live here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Lee Diffie and NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett with you. And it's been a really interesting race, and it seems to have flashed by with just 78 laps to go in this 2019 season. Denny Hamlin, big picture there. Just check out the focus. If you look up, take your eyes up to the top of the screen and watch Denny. It's been fascinating, that focus.
I have. I'm saying the fence. Do what you got to do if you need to.
As much as he's looking forward, he's looking in that mirror to check out where Harvick is.
Yeah, that's certainly your gauge as a driver as to what your competitor is doing, where he might be catching you. Not as concerned with his line, but just, you know, are things that you're doing, besides looking at your lap time, are they putting a gap on your competitor? And he's starting to do that right now. It looks like Denny's changed his line a little bit here.
Maybe that's what we heard Chris Gabehart say.
Yeah.
Do whatever you got to do.
What you got to do.
Do what you need to do.
Figure it out. You don't have a lot of time.
So that's the state of play. Kyle Busch with a 2.2 second lead over the 11. Back in a moment. Just 72 laps remain here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And you look at Kevin Harvick with his hands full, trying to keep up with Martin Truex Jr., who's moved on by. Truex now runs third. He's 4 seconds behind teammate and race leader Kyle Busch. In fact, he's left Harvick behind. And just looking at the car on that previous turn, the 4 of Kevin Harvick, not sure that he is all that satisfied with the way that that car is handling. Let's take you back to some Harvick radio recently. Have a listen.
Yeah, game seem to get her going on the wall, both ends.
Yeah, it seems like adjustments that they've been making, that Rodney Childers has been making on this car, and basically it was to free Harvick up. Now, Harvick warned him not to go too far, so I don't know if they've gone a little too far with those adjustments. Fires off really good, has a lot of short-run speed, but seems to be falling off a little bit more here as they get more laps on the tires.
And you know what, DJ? Truex's words are ringing true. He says, remember he said, I feel I can catch him, I just need some time, and now we're seeing it. He's got by Harvick, and he's got his sights set on his 2 JGR teammates. So it's a JGR 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and Truex Jr.'s actually been the fastest car the last few laps, so by more than 1/10 of a second. So he does have his car. Looks like it's coming into him right now. So, Dim, as we get into this a little bit more, we've been listening to Dale Jr. on the spy cam up there as he calls this race, and I know that he had your old F1 buddy David Hobbs on the Dale Jr. download recently, and I hear you, Hobbs, and Steve Matchett going to be in Charlotte in a couple of weeks, going to one of your popular theater shows.
Yes, we will. We will. And Hobbo, that Dale Jr. download was awesome with Hobbo. Yeah. And we've taken our theater show all around the country, and we've had a lot of fun, and we've never done one in Charlotte. Right, so we'd like you to come along if you can. You're invited, but it's December 2. So 2 weeks tomorrow. December the 2nd will be in Uptown Charlotte at the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center, a beautiful facility. And, you know, a lot of people have asked us to come to North Carolina to do the show, and we've been elsewhere. We haven't done it. So myself and Steve and David will be there 2 weeks, December 2nd at the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center. Who knows? You may see a NASCAR Hall of Famer there as well.
I never know. Yeah, look forward to that. I heard they only had high-class acts going in there. What'd you guys do to fool them?
We managed to talk our way in the back door. Let's get back to the business at hand and some Denny Hamlin radio from a few moments ago.
The 20 and 42 have been up there the last 3 or 4 laps above the seam all the way through both ends. They're hauling ass.
Just 3.3 seconds blanket the top 3 in this race.
It's going to be really interesting to see as the track continues to cool down, get some laps on their tires. The handling changes a little bit on their cars. Where are they going to run? Who's going to find that magic part of this racetrack that's going to give him a little edge over the competitors? And teammates in this case.
See the graphic on the right of our screen here on Hot Pass. Hamlin with just 2 laps led. Coming in, would it have been fair to say that Hamlin, kind of based on his run in Phoenix, was sort of one of the favorites, even though he hasn't been a champion? His current form, people were talking very highly about him. Just the 2 laps led today, has that surprised you?
Surprised me a little bit. I expected to see a little bit more speed out of this 11 car here. But I'll have to say that I think back to a race at a 1.5-mile track where there's not a lot of grip. And that was certainly at Vegas, and they struggled some there. So I wonder if they had it figured out.
Need to duck away for a moment. 65 to go here in Homestead-Miami Speedway. And Kyle Busch eyeing his 2nd Cup crown.
Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're inside of 90 miles left in this championship race here for 2019. Things have mostly stayed the same. We've seen pit stops come on about 35 to 38 laps up to this point. We now see Kyle Larson hit pit road. I was wondering if they might try to do this in one stop, but I believe they're going to stick with their guns and go to somewhere between 30, 32 laps. So we should see cars starting to get on pit road.
Clear, clear.
Don't drive this 23, 2, 1. Push it, one blue, don't push it. One blue, all the way past, don't push it. Carry. Carry. All right. splitter taking off here outside 19. That'll be your leader then. One lane when you get there. Outside lapper after this black one. Use it all. Grab what you can. Grab what you can. 6 to Blaney. 4. You're mindful of your splitter here. 3. Lapper black top. Clear. 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 Truex has not pit yet, so that's your leader. Older tires. 2 to Blaney. Clear 19. Clear. 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 All clear. 4 to Blaney. Box. Switches and brakes where you need. By 8.
Three back to the 11 as you come off over there. 2 back. 1 back, half back. Looking inside by himself here. All clear.
So Denny Hamlin there unlaps himself because Martin Truex Jr. is playing a different strategy game here.
Yeah, I believe he and Kevin Harvick. I think they're making this a one-stop race for them right now.
Remember, there was just over 100 laps when we went back to green to begin the third stage. And DJ spoke about splitting up maybe 35-35.
3, 2, 1, non-green right there.
And now Truex kind of answers that question on what he's going to do with 53 laps left.
This would allow him to do that if he chooses. He gave up a lot of time there not to plan on making this a one-stop race.
Here we come. 3, 2, 1. There go 4 tires. Big hard, bud, big north. 4 cars, the leader. He's getting ready to swing by you way up high on the track. Outside the third, you got 2 more on mid speed, and then you will be clear right there, all clear. 22's pulling back, 3 back, should stall out right here.
So Kevin Harvick leads this race now, but we're waiting to see when indeed he stops. So let's take you back to some Harvick radio a few moments ago.
The longer I run, the worse it turns and the less the rear grip.
The longer I run, the worse it turns and the less rear grip. The words from Harvick.
Well, if I hear my driver tell me that, I don't know why I'm trying to do this on one stop.
Problems here for William Byron.
He's made some contact here. The left front a little bit, but...
And also, we were listening to too much radio. We didn't address the problem for Kyle Larson either. Tough blow for the 42 team because that car was running well.
Looks like this 24 might be out of power here. I think he has enough to get back to the pits, though. Harvick and his team looking for a caution early.
48's about 5 back. I'm in the middle here. 2 back. 1 back. Inside. Clear, clear.
Like Denny Hamlin might possibly have some debris on the front or something, creating a little bit of an overheating situation.
Or
they put some tape on.
Too much tape.
We're not going to make it.
It's too much tape. Oh boy.
Wow.
I want you to make the call. Yeah.
Look at the pressure valve on the radiator on the right-hand side there. It is just steaming out. Too much tape on the front for Denny Hamlin.
Another mistake by the pit crew there.
Fuel water, oil temp is now down to 100. Just like that. Just bring it. Bring it.
I didn't hear what he said the water temp was at.
No, I didn't catch the water temp.
Mighty good out back. That's your mark. Now. $39 39 here. Away. 5, 3, 2, 1. 4 tires. Turn your fan on. Fan on. Dig.
That was a huge piece of tape that was on there. I have to believe that got on more than what I think more got on the grill than on the front bumper to make sure that it stayed attached there.
Yeah.
Harvick on pit road.
Finally, Harvick comes.
3 in. 5, 4, 2, 11. You ready? Go hard, go hard, go hard. Just speed to the line. All right, go let go. You got an apron here.
44 laps to go. Make that 43. And there goes the 18 back into the lead of the race. Kyle Busch has led 77 laps in this Ford EcoBoost 400 and hasn't got away from Denny Hamlin again when he had a shot at it. Who do you like? What do you think? And who will win this Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series for 2019? At the moment, you'd have to say Kyle Busch, because as we ride with the 18 on the big picture, he boasts an 8-second lead over Martin Truex Jr. Now, Martin himself boasted a lead and an advantage earlier in this race when he dominated the opening stanza of the race by about 6 seconds, but we've never seen a lead from first to second in a gap like that of 8 seconds. So this is a pretty handsome lead that Busch is boasting.
Yeah, it is that, but two different strategies here. Interesting, coming out of the same camp. We talk about teammates and how all of this, and they're from Joe Gibbs Racing, but two crew chiefs seeing things in a totally different manner here for the end of this race.
And Hamlin is playing catch-up. That excess tape on the grill just hurt. It was too much. And now he's a lap down and just hoping for the best. It was also a pit call. You remember back in 2014 when he had a shot at being the champion? We played it right at the top of our broadcast here on Hot Pass. Had a shot. There was a pit call that, as we now know, was incorrect. And Kevin Harvick got by him to become the champion that year. So is it again something pit-related that's going to prevent Denny Hamlin and the number 11 FedEx team from being champions? Michael Jordan is here, supporting Denny. They've been longtime friends. He's had a lot of momentum behind him in the build-up to this championship day. And meanwhile, the guy who happens to be his longtime teammate and who hasn't won a race in 21 NASCAR races, Cup races, is out front. However, 10th by 10th, this man, Martin Truex Jr., his other teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing, is chipping away at that lead.
Yeah, he continues to run faster. Of course, he's got fresher tires than what Kyle Busch has right at this moment, going in about 5 laps later than what Kyle Busch did on their last stop. So is that going to be enough? Can he cut this lead down enough to where after Kyle Busch makes his final stop, he can hold him off?
Jeff and Jr. and Spycam.
Seconds. He's still running in second. So maybe he was thinking, hey, let's do something different. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll still be running second if we get that caution, and we'll still have a shot at him. So I don't think he would be able to run him down from 4 seconds back anyway. So probably a call by Cole Pearn, understanding the situation he was in and just trying to do something different.
I don't mind. I agree with you on Cole Pearn. I even agree with Ronnie Childers. The 4 was the 4th of the championship 4. He said, man, maybe we'll get lucky. I have to do something. It's really the miscue by the 11 has given the 18 team a straightaway gap. You know, the 11 should have been the closest car putting the pressure on the 18.
The other thing is, and the teams know all this, the longest green flag stretch in a race here in the last 6 races is 34 laps. So I think that they're all expecting that caution. We'll see. We never know.
33 to go, Jeff. So we're under that.
I just wanted to go on record that I didn't jinx it. It was Jeff. It was Jeff that jinxed it.
And the new tires that Truex had is about leveled off. That last time by, he's a little bit slower than Kyle Busch. Only a few laps before that, maybe a 10th better. That is not going to do it. 7 seconds, 0.8 tenths back. He's in lap traffic right now. The 19 car is Kyle Busch. The lappers are kind of moving over for Kyle. You saw him waving out the window to those guys. Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate you giving me the easy way around here. They know that he's the leader. I don't know if Truex is probably getting that same benefit as he's back there battling with those guys.
Kyle Busch.
Nice to chime in and hear what the boys are discussing on Spike Camp. Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And again, that lead's gone back out to the 8-second mark for Kyle Busch over Martin Truex Jr. Now back down to 7-9. So it's a 10th here, a 10th or 2 here or there, but it's remaining pretty constant, DJ.
Yeah, it's kind of leveled off. Once these tires get to a certain point, then you've got what you got. There's not going to be a huge advantage one way or the other unless somebody's car really gets off, whether it gets really loose or maybe a really tight condition.
So as the laps wind down, this man here on screen gets closer to a 2nd Cup title. Last break, then we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag. For those drivers wanting desperately to see a caution like Denny Hamlin, who's still a lap down, Kevin Harvick, who's back in 7th, more than 30 seconds off the 18 of Kyle Busch, that caution has not yet come. And they desperately need it to in these closing 24 laps of this Ford EcoBoost 400. Let's take you back to some recent radio.
Too tight, man. Or just run the line to help you clear your tires out.
Yeah, you had to wonder if that might become the case as we got into this nighttime situation. Certainly seemed that the 18 car made the right adjustments and ready for this. And when your car is so good, it's hard to make adjustments on it and start thinking about what the track may do. And I talked about the 19 car making it on one stop. The 18 car can make it. I think that Adam Stevens did a good thing. He pitted whenever a lap time that was inside their window to make it on one stop. But if everybody followed them down pit road quickly, then they could go on with their strategy of possibly making a 2nd stop.
So he's going to have, towards the end of this run, the older tires of the two between the 18 and the 19. And we have just seen the biggest chunk taken out of the lead as Martin Truex Jr. brought it down to 7 seconds. So that was a full second difference to where he was. However, Busch has responded now. So is there enough time left for Martin Truex Jr. to eat into that substantially? Or is Kyle Busch and the 18 team just cruising to a second victory? This will be a fascinating final 22 laps. Who's got what?
Yeah, Denny Hamlin's looking at, he's within one car of getting himself in the free pass spot for the time being before Kyle Busch might lap someone else. So Hamlin's hoping that the caution doesn't come out just yet before he can get by Daniel Suarez possibly, and then hoping that they get a quick caution to give them an opportunity.
So that's a name we haven't mentioned today, DJ. Daniel Suarez, farewell drive at Stewart-Haas Racing. Will continue to race, but more than likely in the Xfinity Series next year. And I find that quite a shame because he's a good driver. He's done a solid job. Unfortunately, there's just not a spot for him in Cup in 2020.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He is an outstanding driver. He's a driver that is needed in the Cup Series.
20 to go.
And deserving to be in a ride. Another Stewart-Haas driver having a really good day. Clint Boyer up in that 4th spot.
Speaking of Stewart-Haas, the sole representative in this championship for Kevin Harvick, he's taken some pretty big chunks out of his deficit to the leader. He was more than 30 seconds behind. He's down to about 22 seconds behind now. So we'll see. This could get pretty interesting when we get down to, say, 5 to go.
Yeah, Harvick just stayed out there a little too long. And I understand playing, the game and doing what you need to do. Rodney Childress is a smart guy and understanding what their situation was and how they might make it. Here's a big pass right here if Denny Hamlin can get around Daniel Suarez.
This is for the free pass position if a yellow were to fly. Hamlin finds himself in that 12th position and the first car 1 lap down.
He needs for it to happen immediately.
How about that for keeping things even? As we check in with Spy Cam, the top two have both led 103 laps in this race.
He does get that caution, he can enter pit road much closer and have a shot to come out, in those first 2 rows.
We look at what Joe Gibbs Racing has done by putting 3 drivers into the championship for 75% chance of winning the title. But coming into this race, they had won 18 races already, which ties the most races ever won by an organization in a season. So a win here by either Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., or Denny Hamlin would break that record. They would be the most dominant team in a season in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Kyle Busch laps Daniel Hemrick there. Daniel Hemrick running in 11th place. Last run for this team, having to move on next year. Great run for them guys, but it takes Hamlin out of the free pass zone. Dave.
And Junior, think about the emotion swing for the 18 team this year. Last year on pit road, not a good day. They lost positions all day long. But you know what? That really overshadowed the fact that the car was not good enough to win the race. Remember, they gave him the lead late in the race, but his car wasn't good enough. This year, it's all been corrected. The crew's had a stellar day on pit road, and that 18 car has turned things around. It's the fastest one on the track.
Nervous-looking crew, but you see those pit crew members helmet on. They're not out of the game. They know a yellow. They have to engage, re-engage, have another pit stop. The emotions of these closing laps to being in the pit box. The driver, I know he's nervous, guys, but he's out there having something to do. He's still working. A pit crew guy, a crew chief, you're sitting there a little bit helpless. You don't know if you're going to be part of the game or if your job's done for the night.
Final 14 coming up. Gap now between Busch and Truex is as low as it's been, down to 6 seconds even.
7 for the 11th lapper. 32 should shade bottom.
Can the 19 do anything about the 18?
18 They're just getting into an unknown situation here right now because they haven't run this many laps on these tires this entire race. What will they do? I don't think there's any tire issues as far as the wear goes, even though this is a high wear racetrack. Goodyear understands that. And I don't think that we'll be in that situation. Hamlin's actually getting up here
to get his lap back.
Get the lap back on his own, which would be huge. He could do that, and then the caution come out.
We mentioned it earlier, folks, in the broadcast, that history tells us factually this race doesn't see a lot of cautions. And there is Denny Hamlin. Does he get his lap back yet? Does his teammate show some sympathy? Now he does. Finally back on the lead lap.
That's a huge drive, so now that anything could happen, this will allow him to line up with the lead lap cars instead of being behind all the cars.
35.06.
There's only 10 cars on the lead lap, so a lot could still happen here.
All right, I'm being your timekeeper, DJ. The gap is now down to 5 seconds between Busch and Truex.
I think there was a big gain there for Truex simply because Kyle Busch was letting out, not putting himself in a bad spot. I think his car's getting really tight here. Again, this is the most laps they've had on their tires. They don't have experience with that, but he's only got just over 10 laps to go here.
We've seen two pretty dogged and determined comebacks in this race from two of the championship four, and that is Mark Truex Jr. and his teammate Denny Hamlin. Both been put in pretty awkward situations by adversity in the pits, and they've bounced back from that pretty well.
And on the other side of that, Kyle Busch and his team have just done their normal outstanding job that they do on pit road week in and week out.
One of, if not the best pit crew.
I think that everybody would tell you week in and week out, just pit stop after pit stop, this 18 team gets the job done.
4 now.
9 to go. 4.77 seconds is the gap, first to second. It continues to decrease. Let's take you back for some Kevin Harvick radio. Harvick is running 4th.
Big piece of something. The back stretch. 10-4.
Well, that's not surprising.
Get an official. Get to an official, that helps. I'm trying to find him.
And there's people around, and you have to make them aware. They don't see everything. But as a driver right now that's looking for a caution, you can see a lot of things that they need to throw a caution for. Got to at least try. No reason to sit there and not say something.
Sure. Gap first to second is stabilized. It's still at that 4.7 second mark. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, blue bottom.
Again, since this playoff format was implemented, I have to say again we've seen it over these. We're 260 laps in now, DJ. Again, we've seen proof that the non-championship four, while there were some who, there's Coach Gibbs,
still there.
In this highly emotional year where he lost his son JD. The team and Denny win the Daytona 500. There's a special note on the back of Denny's car in dedication to JD Gibbs, the late JD Gibbs. But we've seen it that the non-championship four have not impacted or affected negatively those going for the title.
No, there's a lot of courtesy given there, but the main thing is that every year we talk about you're going to have to win this. That's not just talking about it. It has to happen. These are the 4 best drivers and teams.
4.7.
He's holding his hands out. 5 laps to go. He's showing you the fingers. And you cannot wait to get back around to see 4, 3, 2. You want to see that white flag. You cannot. it is extremely torturous to sit here and have to run these final few laps with this kind of a lead and everything that's on the line.
Coming up on 4 laps to go for Kyle Busch. He has a 4.5-second lead. Without a caution, Martin Truex Jr. is not going to catch it. Nobody's going to catch it. And now 4 laps to go. Kyle Busch, the regular season champion. He said, if I win this championship, I feel like it's going to justify the first championship, because he actually mentioned to us, he thinks it has an asterisk next to it because he didn't run the full season.
I was amazed when he said that. In my mind, that championship is as good as any other, maybe even more impressive with a shorter season. But the fact that it was top of his mind tells me that it has bothered him. He's heard the comments by other people about that season.
When he first said it, I know what he's talking about. He said that first time an nasty sex to it. I went, what are you talking about? I did not know and did not even remember that.
Not to mention the physical pain of the injuries and the rehab. I think when he was injured and actually having to start that rehab, the championship was out of mind, right? And to be able to come through that, the physical setback.
And he had to win to make it into the playoff system. He was able to win, get enough points, even though he didn't run all the races. And then he won that championship. Well, now he's in a position, as he says, to justify the first and win the second. 2 laps to go in Miami.
And 4.5 seconds to the good is Kyle Busch and the 18 JGR Toyota team. Truex has kind of got a little bit closer, but at this stage it's not going to be enough. Heck of a comeback from Kevin Harvick as well, from more than 30 seconds down to be just 14 seconds back. He's been gritty, so too is Denny Hamlin. But the team and the driver,
no matter what. One more smart one.
who have been patient and performed, is the 18. DJ, you got to run. You got your post-race show. Thanks so much.
Looking forward to it. Thanks. Enjoyed the afternoon and watching this champion right here get that second championship in Kyle Busch.
We've done another hot pass.
Yes, we have. Enjoyed it.
On the way home, he's won a truck championship as an owner. He's an Xfinity championship all by himself. And after that, really odd season, injury-affected season in 2015. Now this one's for real, full-time, all the way. Kyle Busch is a 2-time Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Oh, 2-timer out there. Proud of you, buddy. Way to stick with it. Great job, guys.
It's happened again. It took a win. He had to win the race to win the championship. Every single time in this format, it has taken a win. And you saw the crew's reaction. They're going to hand him the championship banner, the flag. Was checking the lug nuts actually on the car there, and now he'll celebrate here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. You think back to his career. At the age of 16, he was actually at a racetrack about to get into a NASCAR truck to go for a race, and NASCAR said, wait a second, you're too young. He had already run a couple races, but they changed the rule and said, we can't have you behind the wheel. So at 16, he was taken out of the car. But at just 34 years old, what an incredible accomplishment already by this Las Vegas driver. This victory fueled by Sunoco. Fuel your best.
he's in elite company. Now only the 16th different driver to have multiple championships in the 70-plus years NASCAR's been around.
Junior, it's interesting you say that, and I was just thinking of the fact that Kyle Busch is a polarizing figure. Your father was a polarizing figure as well. I mean, when he started winning so many races, fans would be like, well, wait a second. You know, I don't know if we want to cheer for this guy anymore. But that's kind of the way Kyle Busch has now moved up into that category. You mentioned elite category, multiple championships for him.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who feels like that he should already have multiple championships. This is definitely something that he needed badly tonight. He's only 34 years old. I mean, there's no reason why he can't go win 3, 4, 5 championships, if not even more. If he wanted to stay around another 10, 11 years, he could.
Busch, it's been 21 races since he's been able to take a bow, but that's the trademark for the driver of the 18. He'll salute the crowd, bow to them. Marty's down there with him.
Rick, in a playoff season where everybody wondered when Kyle Busch was going to show up, he picked a great day to have a great day. Kyle Busch, the champion, soaking the moment in, you can tell. After a summer and fall of questions, does that make this moment even sweeter, Kyle?
Yeah, we have a great race team and a great owner and even the best sponsor in sports. And I just can't say enough and thank everyone enough for this opportunity. I may be the one that's able to hoist a trophy or to have a championship, but it wouldn't be possible without Adam Stevens and Coach Joe Gibbs, JD Gibbs, Coy Gibbs, the whole family, M&M's, of course, Interstate Batteries and Norm Miller, and Toyota. This TRD engine was awesome tonight. It's been awesome all year. We had one issue, but man, it's so much fun to work with these guys and this group and everybody that puts it all together for me. So, you know, there's always your doubters, there's always your haters, but you know what? This one's for Rowdy Nation because you guys are the best. So, thank you so much.
Rexon and Samantha here waiting to come in. Let them have the family moment here. And Kyle, it is about family. What about winning this one for the Joe Gibbs Racing family and for Joe Gibbs after all he's been through, especially with the passing of JD in January?
Yeah, it's I know it's been a difficult time on JD or Melissa and Joe, and to be able to reward them with a championship, this is I don't know how much it means to them, but it's the best I can do, you know. And I know JD was looking down on us all year long. I mean, damn, what a season Joe Gibbs Racing put together. And for as awesome as our group is and everybody back at the shop and how awesome they are of building some really, really special race cars, we put it on them this time.
This was a different celebration. You kind of seemed to soak it in a little bit with the fans. What was that about?
Well, the last time I did a burnout first, it messed up the flag and everything, so I wanted to get a good shot with the flag everywhere and make sure everybody could get a good shot of the flag because we're the 2019 champions.
To answer the bell like this, at a race like this, on a stage like this, what kind of statement is that from the 18 team, Kyle?
everybody always says you never give up, and we're no different. And we just do what we can do to each and every week. And sometimes we may not be the best. Sometimes we may not have the right track position. Today we had a really good car, and I could race around and move around. And that's what's so special about Homestead-Miami Speedway is the ability to put on a show. And felt like we did that there racing those guys. I know it kind of dulled out, I guess, towards the end, but it was exciting enough for my seat. You know, it was a lot of fun, and to cap off such an amazing year.
We talk about how it's about family. Look who's here. His brother Kurt, who was holding Brexton a moment ago. The Busch family, Kyle Busch, the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion.
All smiles for Kyle Busch and everyone. Saw Kurt come in, grab Brexton. You could overhear Brexton asking his dad, "Dad, you gonna throw me in the air again?" That's another tradition that Kyle Busch has done with his 4-year-old son. After every win, he has thrown him up in the air when they get to victory lane. We're here on NBC until 7 o'clock. Stay with us for the celebration, the continued celebration of a two-time champion. Kyle Busch said we put it on him. 120 laps led of this 267-lap race. Mentioned the passing of J.D. Gibbs. Joe Gibbs with a big smile on his face and looking to the heavens, knowing that J.D. was looking down on this championship. Kyle Busch wins it. So many accomplishments by the two-time champion. It was 2005 when he was the Rookie of the Year in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. 2009, he was the Xfinity Series champion. He has won more races in the Xfinity Series than any other driver in the history of that series. Now he is alone in the 9th position for the all-time wins in the Monster Energy Cup Series, with this win at 56 wins now. He gave Joe Gibbs his 5th Cup Series championship. And Junior, as you mentioned earlier, he now is the 16th different driver, only 16 in the history of NASCAR that have multiple championships. Take a look at this. Brexton is along for the ride. He's sitting over there in the passenger area. There's no seat there. But Brexton, what a memory for that young man. And how proud I'm sure he is of his dad. I mentioned the perspective. It's a little bit different for Brexton because he only knows his dad winning. His dad has won 40 races just in this decade alone. That's the most of all drivers. And he's going to take a nice Sunday drive around this 1.5 miles.
Kind of a moment better share with your son. Winning this Cup championship is just rarefied air.
Brexton over there taking it all in.
I think since he crossed our finish line, that's the biggest smile we've seen from Kyle Busch.
Yeah. And it's been a long time since we've seen big smiles on Kyle Busch's face. Pocono earlier this year was his last win before tonight. Look at that. Kyle actually moved the camera inside of the car so that he could see, or that Brexton could be seen down there. Brexton holding on to the roll cage. A little steam rolling out at the base of the windshield. He was definitely the hottest performer today. A dominant performance.
Scully, come back. Yes.
What a moment. Deep breath there as Kyle will make his way now to the championship stage. And it's happened every year. The race winner has won the championship. A year ago, that flag, when he won his first championship, that flag actually got caught up in the rear wheel when he was doing the burnouts, and it shredded it. You mentioned to the crowd, I wanted to make sure that we got some good pictures. At the end of every race, the race winner will put a win sticker just above the driver's side door. And so now the final race of the year, the final win sticker is going to be placed on that area just behind where his name is. Interesting. He goes by Rowdy Bush. Mentioned Rowdy Nation. From Days of Thunder, was a big fan of Rowdy, who, by the way, had been doing the promos for NBC all year. And he mentioned, who, by the way, had been doing the promos for NBC all year. And he mentioned Kyle Busch and winning a second championship. Able to congratulate and enjoy his second championship as well. Both of those coming with Kyle. And saw the steam coming out and said, you know what, I'll make sure that doesn't get on anybody. Here goes the winning sticker.
The win sticker is pretty cool. A nod to grassroots racing, short track racing. Getting that feature win sticker, put it on your car.
That was the most special of the 5 with champion listed at the bottom.
And earlier we heard to the victor goes the spoils, and that's about what's going to happen for Kyle Busch, as that monster trophy, which includes all of the racetracks from the season all the way around the Giant Cup. It's the second one now for Kyle Busch as he starts the move up the steps and heads to Christavoda.
Rick, Kyle Busch has made his way to the championship stage, a place he is familiar with. This is second, as we have pointed out. And we're going to start the proceedings of festivities as he continues to get hugs from everyone with his team, Toyota. It's a busy place, a busy stage up here as he comes over, shakes hands with Mitch Covington. And Mitch Covington, the Senior Vice President of Sports Marketing for Monster Energy, the series sponsor, will kick things off as Kyle gets high fives, hugs from Coy Gibbs, from Coach Gibbs. Mitch Covington with some words with our 2019 champion.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all the fans out there on behalf of all of Monster's employees around the world for not only supporting Monster Energy for the last 3 years, but supporting NASCAR and supporting racing in America. We love you, and that's what Monster's all about, is racing, and thank you so much. Now, hey, I texted this guy this week, and I said, I don't want to meet Willie at your motorhome or nowhere else. I'm going to meet you on the podium. And here we are, brother, after all these years. I finally get to give you more money. So, anyway, congratulations, Kyle. I'm super proud of you, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you, man. All right.
And thank you to Mitch and Monster Energy for everything they've done and continue to do for our sport. Thank you. And I know you've been waiting a while. It doesn't feel like 4 years is that long, but you've been waiting for a long time for some more hardware. First, for some more words to our champion from NASCAR President Steve Phelps.
Thank you, Krista. Kyle, on behalf of all the NASCAR employees and the millions of fans we have around the world, I want to congratulate you for being a two-time Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion. So well deserved.
And at this point, Kyle gets to raise the trophy he's been waiting for. It's a heavy one. That's a heavy Monster Energy.
That's a heavy one. Don't drop it.
Here he goes. Let's get some words now with the champion. The first thing you did, obviously, I know your team, you celebrated with them, you'll continue celebrating, but as Samantha and Brexton came over to you, it seemed like Brexton was whispering some things in your ears, talking to you. What was your little man saying?
He was asking if he could get thrown up in the air because we want to race.
He's getting big, though. He's 4 years old.
I know. He's a little lighter than a trophy, so I think I'm okay for right now, but man, this is so special. I want to thank Mitch and Monster, everybody back at Monster for a fantastic run. And I told Mitch when it first came out, I was like, damn, man, that trophy's so cool. I want to get one of those. And missed out on the first two, but really, really special to pick up this one. And just can't say enough about all my guys. This is their trophy as much as it's my trophy. It means so much to work with this group. They're so special, Adam Stevens especially, and Joe Gibbs and Coy and JD and what their family went through this year means so much to bring them home a title. And M&M's, I mean, what can you say about them and their support, and of course Interstate Batteries. It's just so honored to drive their race car and to come out here and get the job done tonight.
I'm going to bring Coach over here to join us too as he makes his way over here, and I know it's special. Coach, what does this mean? You had 3 cars in there, you had pretty good odds, but we know in this sport it's not always a numbers game. Your thoughts on winning a 5th Cup championship?
It's a thrill for us. The Lord blessed us with a great night. I spent 3.5 hours worried about everything. I didn't know what was going to happen. Hey, I want to thank Mitch, Monster, Ed at Toyota. Norm got us started over here. Coy, a big part of our family, all of our families here. Pam, Victoria, just thank you for everybody being a part of this. It's a thrill for me. To all of our fans, thank each and every one of you guys who appreciate it so much.
Coach, I know Kyle talked about it, the importance of trying to win this, not just for you, for JD, everything your family has been through. To start off the year with that Daytona 500 win with JD's name on the car, and to come here to Homestead and win the championship. I know it's a small substitute. It in no way replaces what you have lost. But what does it mean, and do you feel like he was smiling down today?
I just want to say there, JD spent his entire professional life building our race team. And this whole year, I think, is just a tribute to him. I think everybody saw the Daytona 500. Everything that's happened this year would have to think that I know the Lord had his hand in what was taking place. And I believe JD had a great view of it. Everybody go to jdgibbslegacy.com. Just appreciate everybody. This whole year, we're celebrating his life.
Coach Gibbs goes into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's already in the NFL Hall of Fame in the year that he wins the championship. Congratulations, Coach Gibbs, as Kyle continues to celebrate with his family. We'll slide over here real quick and get a word with the crew chief, Adam Stevens. Adam's 2nd Cup championship. Everyone has a little bit of a different story. You had a driver in 2015 who won it after breaking a leg and breaking a foot. This year, he said today he almost felt like an underdog. How is that possible when he wins 56 races?
We just had a cold spell there, you know. It's been well documented, if you believe it or not. I've been asked quite a few questions about it, but it really felt a little bit like 2015 to me. You know, take the broken legs out of the equation, but, you know, we were really hot early in 2015 when Kyle came back, and we didn't win since Indy that year, and then came to Homestead and got the job done. But you got to remember, too, you know, we're in such a unique situation, you know, as a competitive team that runs up front with the goal of winning the championship every year. Everything we do is to make that happen, right? So to win the regular season points championship and then try to maintain that and get to Homestead, that's what it's all about.
And we're going to see, I don't know what kind of powwow, what kind of meeting is going on here. Does Brexton have any questions? Do you have any questions for Brexton? We could turn the interview over to him. Does he have anything he wants to say?
Brexton, say anything? No.
Who just won the 2019 championship? Who won?
My dad.
Your daddy won?
Yeah. And, I don't you here. Hold on a second.
All right, this one's going to be
good. This one's for my dad.
For me? No. Who's it for? Me?
Yes.
Well, I won, but who's it for?
I don't know.
Rowdy Nation.
Rowdy Nation.
Rowdy Nation. 4 years old. Congratulations to the 2019 champions, the 18 team, Coach Gibbs, Kyle Busch, the entire 18 and Toyota camp. The 2019 Monster Energy Cup champion, the final at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Rick?
Yeah, and Krista, the situation here in racing is you have one person that gets to celebrate and 39 that are disappointed in what just took place because they didn't either win the race or have a shot at the championship. Probably one who thought he was the favorite coming in would be Denny Hamlin. He had his issues. Parker caught up with him just moments ago.
Denny Hamlin had gotten the car right. You guys seemed like you were really come online as we went into the nighttime, and then the scenario with the tape. How disappointing is this?
It's disappointing, but I mean, all you can ask for is a chance. We got our chance last week. Chris is aggressive. He's aggressive crew chief, and he tried to give me all the speed he could there, and it was just too much tape, and we were going to blow up. We were pissing all the water out, and but I mean, as soon as it went night, I mean, this thing woke up, and I was really excited about our prospects after that pit stop, and but it just got so hot that it was going to blow.
How about this season overall? You guys have started off by winning the Daytona 500, being here, getting into this by winning at Phoenix. How do you sum up this season and coming up short? How disappointing is that?
Yeah, I mean, I sum it up by just thanking my team for giving me fast race cars every week. Thank the crew chief for making aggressive calls like that. Thanking the pit crew for, doing a great job and getting better all year long. So I'm happy with where our team's at. I mean, we're going to win ship pot full of races next year, and we're going to try to get a championship next year. It's just part of the process, right? I mean, we're this is our second go at it in the Final Four, and we just came up short.
Did you learn anything from this one?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I did, but nothing I want to really talk about right now.
Holding close to the vest for the 11 team. They hope to be back here next year.
And apologize for the language there once again. The emotions. One of the things I think that you look at when you look at Denny Hamlin, and people are going to talk about this until he ever wins a championship, he right now could be the greatest driver to never win a championship in this sport.
Yeah, but his words there really said a lot to me. It would have been easy to blame. It would have been easy to point fingers. Instead, he kind of put his arm around his team, even with that mistake. I think he appreciates what his first-year crew chief has given him for opportunities, 6 wins, and he's disappointed. Those are tough questions to answer. He answered to the best of his ability. He was here. He had a chance, and think about a 7-day roller coaster.
Yeah.
I mean, a week ago, it took a win to end up in the championship 4, and he rode that high and that excitement all week long, and just in the end, it wasn't meant to be here in Miami.
The guy who was closest to Kyle Busch, finishing second in the race, standing by with Kelly. That's Martin Truex Jr.
Well, after dominating this one early and leading 103 laps, once again, it's a runner-up finish today for Martin Truex Jr. Martin, you guys had the miscue on pit road, a little bit different pit strategy there at the end, and I heard you had a tight race car. Where did this one ultimately get away from you guys?
Just losing control of the race there with the issues we had, and having to restart back where we did and heat up our tires, and just started the third stage. We for sure got too tight, but I felt like if we could have had the lead, we still could have drove away. So just one of those deals. We lost that track position and fell back too much and got too far behind. We were faster the whole last run. It's just we were so far behind. It's too much to make up with traffic and live traffic and all those things. So unfortunate. A hell of a season for our Bass Pro Auto Owners team and everybody at JGR. Thanks for some awesome race cars. And, it's just one little mistake is hard to overcome here with track position.
7 wins this season, but then again, runner-up in the championship for the second straight year. How will you remember 2019?
It's another one that got away. Felt like we had what it took to win tonight, and even more so than last year, we were really good on short runs, good on long runs. We had the whole package. We just got a little bit too tight there at the end, and once again, if we were out front, I feel like we could have done. We would have been gone, but we weren't. So we needed to be a little bit better. We'll go to work for next time, but really proud of the team, and obviously first year at Joe Gibbs Racing to have 7 wins and a runner-up is good. Just it hurts to run second again 2 years in a row when you feel like you could have done it. Thanks.
Kevin Harvick finishes 4th, but 3rd in the championship. It seemed like you guys were so close to those Joe Gibbs cars, just missing a little something. What were you missing out there?
Yeah, we just needed a yellow. We needed some short runs. We had good speed in our Busch Light Ford, for about 15 laps, 20 laps, and just never got a caution flag at the end. And usually that's what it comes down to. But we just never could really get the balance to where I could run the top. I was too loose up top, and I was too tight turning into the center on the bottom. So just always kind of on one side or the other. But I'm just really proud of everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing, Roush Yates engines, and everything that all these guys on this number 4 team have done all year. It's been a battle this year to even have a chance, and to have a chance says a lot about our team, because we came a long ways from the start of the season.
And did you know what Rodney was doing there with the long pitting? Were you on board with that choice there to take the long pit and have the newest, freshest tires on that last run?
Yeah, well, we were hoping for a caution. That was really the biggest thing, was just try to leapfrog them, and if the caution came out, but we never got a caution, and then wound up with the freshest tires and wound up getting back to where we would have been anyway. So these guys, they've done a great job. I hate it that we didn't win tonight, because they put a ton of effort into this, but we'll start off a little bit better next year and do it again.
A hard-fought night and a hard-fought season for the 4 team.
Guys are already looking forward to next year and their opportunities, and Hamlin thinks he's going to win a pile of races. Harvick, he's ready to go. They know they missed an opportunity tonight, because at one point in all these races, each of these guys had a chance to win, had a car that could win. Harvick knows if it come down to a short run, he was going to be the guy to beat.
The gamble for Harvick and his team, it was worth making. They had lost enough track position. They probably, in any situation, unless they got a caution, wasn't going to work out for them. Martin Truex Jr., I think he is exactly right. That, when they gave up the lead, with that mistake that they made, they never saw it again. And you just cannot make those mistakes. I hate it for those guys, but at the end of the day, this is big-time auto racing, and you just can't have those kind of mistakes. If you do, to recover from it's almost impossible. And they just did not have enough time to make it happen.
It's been a long season. Coming up next on NBC is going to be Football Night in America, and then Bears-Rams. Of course, on NBCSN, we'll have extended post-race coverage. Posing for the pictures. We're going to wrap it up after this. And it's been a long season. Brexton, maybe the ride of his life right there. M&M's and the smiles. Kids maybe all across the country that are Kyle Busch fans being able to celebrate the second championship with him. Kyle hoisting that 68-pound trophy over his head. And a big hug from Brexton.